Hickory dickory, I know you sick of me, but you a God's enemy. If you live wickedly, don't be an idiot. Falling for trickery, most has had enough. Call all the deacons up, and all of the captains. It's time to get active. We never reacted, we swing into action, cause you're running out of time. Yeah, you're running out of time. Yeah, don't be tripping up. Gotta keep it up, cause you're running out of time. Tick tock, tick tock.
Hickory dickory dock. The lamb, you started the clock. 2/3 gonna drop. Purple gold make them stop. Purple gold make them watch. We gon' rise to the top. We the guys, we don't flop. Time stop for the flock. Same place they took us. Same place they booked us. Colombia, we docking. Cologne, yeah, we mocking. Hit a tick cause it's talking. If you feeling me, just hit us up. If you Israel, keep looking up. We caught you out there, we build you up. Any, mini, money, mo. Catch ya, cracker, body, throw. When they holla, squeeze it, mo. When his eyes pop, let it go.
Hickory dickory, I know you sick of me, but you a God's enemy. If you live wickedly, don't be an idiot. Falling for trickery, most has had enough. Call all the deacons up, and all of the captains. It's time to get active. We never reacted, we swing into action, cause you're running out of time. Yeah, you're running out of time. Yeah, don't be tripping up. Gotta keep it up, cause you're running out of time. Tick tock, tick tock.
Y'all travel around the block. We sail across the seas, 144,000. We deep like a pool, man, we digging. You constantly sleep, so everyone go and come gather around me. Can't you see how we move? Tribe of Judah too smooth. From coast to coast making moves. We the action apostles, yeah, they try to stop us. They ain't even want us catch the boat. I know it's coming, yeah, that day is coming. Can't wait till my hands cross his throat. Time is ticking. Pestilence, they stricken. The end time is wrapping up. All aboard, we dripping.
It's the perfect timing. Word more than the worth of diamonds on this earth is shining. We've been given power. One left, the 11th hour to the word devoured. I'm just singing the past song. The state of this kingdom won't last long. So how do you figure the time you got left when it's already 10 and a half gone? I'm in rhythm, never prone to a schism. On this throne, that's wisdom. On the scene, that's vision. It's in our jeans, no denim. I'm on a team that's winning. Know that we taking this gold. We on a quest to wake Jacob up next, and that's rather by plane or by boat. Ironic how easy we making the coast.
Hickory dickory, I know you sick of me, but you a God's enemy. If you live wickedly, don't be an idiot. Falling for trickery, most has had enough. Call all the deacons up, and all of the captains. It's time to get active. We never reacted, we swing into action, cause you're running out of time. Yeah, you're running out of time. Yeah, don't be tripping up. Gotta keep it up, cause you're running out of time. Tick tock, tick tock.
Hickory dickory. The deacon pulled up on your dock, blew up the spot. This never stops. The prophets of God here to light up your block. Ain't taking no L's, so to break up the spells. And it's back to this shit that is here on your watch. Ticking the top. New day, got a new play. About to do it all again, no blocks. The kingdom approaches, and this here encroachment. If you still observing, you might be an ops. Alert before we even die. Curacao shook cause Aruba got rocked. Prophetically speaking, we're here to break kingdoms. So no, we ain't leaving till we see that shot. Shake on top, patiently waiting to drop. The saints on the way for the swap. Drake got next, so we kicking down doors, no knocks. And taking the kingdom, we snatching from Edom. Reclaiming our freedom, but it's gonna get hot. Redeem what they buy. Watch how we thicken the plot. Hands on his heel at the box. We hunting for fox. Dashing they head on them rocks. The most high to sped up the clock. Watch. Quest to wake the 12, hitting all the spots. They try to track our trail, can't connect them dots. Feeding the freedom in knots. This number 6, we still leaving them shocked. Ticking the top, time is at hand for the flock. Man, hasten them gates before they lie.
Hickory dickory, I know you sick of me, but you a God's enemy. If you live wickedly, don't be an idiot. Falling for trickery, most has had enough. Call all the deacons up, and all of the captains. It's time to get active. We never reacted, we swing into action, cause you're running out of time. Yeah, you're running out of time. Yeah, don't be tripping up. Gotta keep it up, cause you're running out of time. Tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah, we got a boost in your block. Now we ain't never gonna stop. I know we doing a lot. Yeah, we on fire, we hot. We on a ship in the ocean. Island to island, we coasting. Time to deliver the chosen. Yeah, and we cause a commotion. Yeah, setting fire to the islands. 3 hours till we back on the sea. Inspiration to the sky. They gotta go, but they don't want us to leave. You don't worry, we'll be back. Tell her, eat him, it's a rap. He a devil, he a rat. Kingdom falling, that's a fact. Yeah, take over your ship, it's a hijack. You don't know the spirit of the Lord is behind that. Looking at me like I don't belong here. You gon' see the reason when you see the kingdom draw near. We are the captains now, going and fall in line. They scattered us all the slaves, so now we gon' gather the gods. We are not going to bow down. This is our moment, times now. It is a beautiful day to be with the ABA. We coming out to play, prepare for Judgment Day.
We in control, we taking over the globe. We in the mode, and we about to explode. We on the top, we gon' be ruling for sure. They cannot contain us, cause we getting ready to blow. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control.
Beast mode, I go beast mode. Can you feel it? I serve cheat code. That's my cheat code. Is you with it? Give no credence to your feelings. All cap. Let you read it. This a global takeover. Bring it back. This a mission. We gon' kill it. Quest 7 in the building, got a precept for your precept. Let me get it on the voice for it's cheering. This your limited edition. You ain't make it cause you fake it. This is international business. We the illest in the village when we touch down. If your pastor come with lies, he getting bust down. Popping from his neck, no respect for these dumb clowns. We ain't finished yet. We gon' jet when they face down. Idols getting bodied, ain't nobody about to confound. Prophets been about it, ain't no parlay when we pull up now. Dropping all this knowledge, clocking mileage, call it sea miles. Sailing, changing lives, no surprise what you see now. We see bound.
We in control, we taking over the globe. We in the mode, and we about to explode. We on the top, we gon' be ruling for sure. They cannot contain us, cause we getting ready to blow. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control.
We in the mode, that's God mode. Taking the globe that y'all know. We cross the roads, no cars go. Back on the boat, no cargo. Get it yet? I was off track, now I'm penitent. Wasn't all bad, wasn't innocent. Had to fall back, like the scripture said when I repented, man. Something like Gilligan on the island, but we here for business. Set the record straight, call Guinness. Trying to make a way before the sentence. Teach repentance while y'all snooze. On a mission while Tom Cruise. Top speed, making top moves. Only top G's in the pot suits.
On the city block about to march, we ain't even start camp yet. Captain ship leading the same old two-step. Left, you right, we lead tonight. Formation, keep it tight. You get stranded, catch a flight. Go, grab the Bible, let's roll. Clear to see we in the end times, no prime time, don't choke. So much smoke, you thought it was a joke. This the truth, no pope. God garments and boss rock, you know his name, he the GOAT.
We in control, we taking over the globe. We in the mode, and we about to explode. We on the top, we gon' be ruling for sure. They cannot contain us, cause we getting ready to blow. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control. We in the mode, taking the globe. We in control, we in control.
All this tribulation, Jacob's trouble going through it, every nation had their hand in our ruin, now we made it. Kept the faith, didn't break, to the King we give our praise.
God Almighty, which is to come, show compassion for the wrongs I've done. Drunk with lies that made us numb, but you're full of grace and then some. Conspiracies can't conceal me, the comforter will reveal me. Sleep in slumber, y'all wonder like Stevie, like the blind read Braille, y'all gotta feel me. Favor comparison, understand analogy. Confederate against D, that's a strategy. Trespassed on property like Monopoly. Mob deep cause havoc, but we the prodigy. Full of hate like I wish a nigga would. Wasn't quite living like the way that we should. Aborted fetus like it was all good. But the father spoiled his plans for the parents in the hood. Murder seeds, crafty counsel, that was his plan B. Now we populate the earth, that's God's plan B. Eternal kings and priests, yeah, that's for all to see, yeah. And we dialed in, thank you Lord for calling me.
All this tribulation, Jacob's trouble going through it, every nation had their hand in our ruin, now we made it. Kept the faith, didn't break. To the King, we give our praise. Across the earth, all the search to call dispersed back to the glory. We put in work to quench the thirst, we chose for birth, but that's a different story. We left the church to bless the hurt, the quest was first proof, you can't ignore me. Was once cursed from pain and dirt, the scriptures cut deep as Jason Voorhees. They branded us with plantation names, now we dying over name brands all these years later. See, ain't much change, like Damon Wayans, we in major pain. Israel, we done changed the game, been at it for years, against all lies we seen so many changes, but since so many tears. I'm with the guys, for thousands of years we've been ostracized, and clearly that was just underhanded, we done been tossed aside. They took our land, we was beating and robbed, and all these years later they still trying to rub it in, and it's not no massage. All this tribulation, Jacob's trouble going through it, every nation had their hand in our ruin, now we made it. Kept the faith, didn't break. To the King, we give our praise.
Taking on the route Apostle Paul, paved the way and saved the grace for all. Casting down imagination's law, tried to write us off a fatal flaw. Yeah, cause the Spirit gon' step in and bring back all the things we forgetting. Comforted the top G's and the brethren, getting me quick with these scripts and the weapon. Austere in the face, Martinique took over the place. Dominica, they couldn't plan for the day. Antigua gave the prophets hope for the day. Yeah, cause the work be working. Edify the sheep, but the ghosts be jerking. Killing all the dots to get the hearse for hearses. Blessing all the people in the curse for worse. I hope you feel it.
All this tribulation, Jacob's trouble going through it, every nation had their hand in our ruin, now we made it. Kept the faith, didn't break. To the King, we give our praise.
Scripts cut quick, leave us going and leaning like 6:15. Y'all silly rabbits still here with the tricks. We uniting the sticks, rebuilding our house and we stacking our bricks.
Stacking bricks daily, it's continuous. Ain't no ifs, ands, or maybes. The Lord will rescue us. Fight from India to Haiti, gotta wake the rest of us. But some brothers be shady cause they really jealous much.
We rehearse it, cause the Most High cursed it. Gift of God, 03, he birthed it. Young babes desire the milk and we birthed it. Clothed patient, scrubbed earth, but we nursed it.
Eat him from the fall. Exposing this whole world like it was writings on the wall. I'm a whole new person like when Saul turned a Paul. I've been waiting for my call, but if God come my back, then I'ma still stand tall.
Stand tall like the cedars of Lebanon. Phenomenon, military mind and bombed with napalm. Feel the destruction at my hand, DEFCON 5. Spare no lives except for the wise.
See the wise get the prize, so like Moses said, keep the laws, you gon' die, so you know he dead. See the prophets sit on high, so we go ahead. And we teaching all the people, cause we never rest.
Every day it worsens like cancer. Like AI, I answer the calling from my Father above, showing me love. Curses spit, can't it quit like I'm a glove. Pure and white, reaching heights like I'm a dove. Rhyme like I'm a son of Satan, yet the son of God. On a quest with my brethren, we the black squad. Man thinks he's super till he sees the black side. Travel with my feet shine.
So we chillin' with the Zulus. Eyes on 10, brighter than the sun, so you know he see like right through you. Christ sword sharper than a Ginzu, leaving you filleted like you fish food. Fire come to get you. Like, how you gonna run from the Son of Man when you witnessing the power from the very first hand? Like, you just couldn't understand that fire could rain anytime at his command.
Fire like a grave God fix. blazing flesh from the son of men betwixt. Heel on our footstool, right hand on the dragon's neck. Afraid with pains, watch them bounce like a bad check.
Like a bad check, all the people gon' be shook like when Christ resurrect. They witness the elect. Look, see destruction gon' be hazardous. Comforted like Lazarus, to hell with your analysis.
Damn your analysis, promises sweeter than a patient on dialysis. Your sin is inadequate. I could tell a demon be still, that's paralysis. Working hard hands to the mill till they calluses.
Look, spirit of David, they can't battle with. They better have it like way worse than when they shackled us. Revolutionary, you can call me an activist. Slave to a god, man, it really seems miraculous.
Enemies been fold for now for centuries. Now we got the remedies for the penalties to immortalize our extremities. Black your eyes like peas if you question our parentheses. Let's go.
Look, ready for war like the Maccabees. My people at the bottom and they steady begging master please. Actually oppression make a wise man mad, so they after me. I paints paintings, so they staring at the masterpiece. Like time is moving gradually, they waiting for the peace when all they get is tragedy. Reality sunken, mentality corrupted. They waiting on the rapture where they get reconstructed.
People wanna know who we are. They don't understand the growth to get where we are. We travel the world, cross 7 seas to get to the ones who need this. Don't really care to us, making sure what we do fulfill. Issues we dealt with, roadblocks that we meant to keep us down. But you know that soon the fire's gonna come down. I hope you're ready to go into the field. Angels activated and they not gon' chill. Holding form with until the last is sealed. Are you ready? Don't you fret, don't you cry. We gon' lose some loved ones, alright. But you know that they ain't gonna rise. It's the end of time. Bring the fire down, bring the fire down. 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 Are you ready to go? You know we on the road. Ain't no turning back when you wanna ride past. It's the last trial, so there's no time to relax. Are you ready to go? You know we on the road. Ain't no turning back when you wanna ride past. We in the last truck, there's no time to relax. I hope you're ready to go into the field. Angels activated and they not gon' chill. Holding form with until the last is sealed. Are you ready? Don't you fret, don't you cry. We gon' lose some loved ones, alright. But you know
Okay, living legends, sons of God on the block, I hope they get the message. On the side where they from, I mean it isn't pleasant. From the south to the top, preaching in the trenches, go hard in any setting. Okay, living legends, sons of God on the block, I hope they get the message. On the side where they from, I mean it isn't pleasant. From the south to the top, preaching in the trenches, go hard in any setting.
Mazel tov. Tails gonna explode with the Molotov. So Fox gon' burn, we gon' set it off. Ishmael wild man, he gon' let it off. So give him this verse, you can let him scoff. Moab thought he had us since we in the dragon. 1,000 years bound, we released the Kraken. Have him running back for safety like we playing Madden. Pull the carpet from the nations, no, this ain't Aladdin.
We got the island on lockdown. Prophets be all on your block now. From St. Lucia to Antigua, hit 6 islands, touchdown. See how we hitting the scoreboard. Praising my God, he the warlord. We'd have had a perfect 10 if we had hit like 4 more. Heard they watching TV, we gon' make them sit calm. Got a radio show on the go, know it's on. Whether they or Rastafari or they quoting the Quran. When my deacon get the teaching, they defeated and they gone.
Living legends, sons of God on the block, I hope they get the message. On the side where they from, I mean it isn't pleasant. From the south to the top, preaching in the trenches, go hard in any setting. Okay, living legends, sons of God on the block, I hope they get the message. On the side where they from, I mean it isn't pleasant. From the south to the top, preaching in the trenches, go hard in any setting.
Going to war, my life in the line, we busting the islands. Powers of God, we better than diamonds. Spirit of Christ, spirit of Judah. Putting up purple, it come with a price. My God is the light, but he coming at night. We making waves. Number 7, talk about work, but this is my profession. God's on earth, we live in legend. Bahamas, St. Thomas, etc. Damn near the whole world. Gotta be dumb if you ever could think you can mess with us. You can mess with us. You can mess with us. Damn near the whole world.
It's that time again. Yeah. Ya es la hora. You know, power hour. Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit, yeah. That mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. There's one interpretation, man, it's say what it say. Ya venía el tiempo, entra para el templo. Aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida. Nunca se divida. And it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah, tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it ain't no mystery. Power hour. The 11th hour. You know it's true history. 11th hour. Power hour.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus. Why do I hear an echo?
Oh my God.
Does somebody have their thing on? Is it me?
No, I hear the echo.
Is it me? Was it me?
What is that?
Was it me?
You're echoing too.
No,
No,
I'm
everybody's
still echoing. Wait, I hear echo.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
No, it's going to be annoying. Okay, wait. Now it's gone.
That's getting better.
Was it?
My check.
No, now it's back.
Yeah,
1,
it's still
2,
there.
1, 2. I think it's gone.
See,
It's gone.
It's gone.
We're trying
Checking,
out. No, it's
checking,
not.
test,
No, it's
test.
not.
Was it you?
No,
Was it
wasn't.
you? Was it
No,
your
I didn't do
phone?
anything. I'm just no.
Were you on the stream on your phone?
I wasn't. I think that was Tobias.
Who was on the stream on their phone?
I'm on the stream on my phone.
Oh, it was Job. It was Job.
Oh, you can hear through this?
Was it all the, because now it's gone. Was it up? You have the volume on?
It's still
It's
there.
all the way down.
I still hear. I hear the echo.
No,
I don't hear the
no,
echo
it's
anymore.
Gone now. No, you bugging.
Yeah.
I think it was Job.
Oh, y'all heard the echo too? Well, you would because if it was in here.
Yeah.
IT, was it Job?
I take
Was it Job?
I take it.
No, it wasn't him.
It was y'all?
There was something over here. I don't know.
Why?
But it's gone now.
But why were you guys so quiet about it?
who's trying to fix it.
But why don't you communicate?
You right.
Communication.
Oh my
We were working
goodness.
on communication for a while.
They the audience was saying it's still there slightly. I don't hear it anymore. I don't hear it anymore.
10 times better.
All right. See, that's why we need your funds to replace our IT team. Right? Look
Oh,
right here.
shoot.
Is it here? Did I do it right? I know we got the delay.
The delay.
Let me see.
It's
See,
coming
let's see if you're
right
on point.
now.
Nah. You got to go up. You got to go
You
up.
gotta go
Oh, no,
inward.
it's this
Yeah,
way.
right there. I think.
All right, so it's a
that's
little off.
That's a
I'm not logged in to do a poll.
No,
How do
it's
I do
Dig.
the
It's
poll?
okay. It's all right. We can do
How
the
do I
poll.
do the poll?
We can do the
yeah,
poll when we get
Yeshaya
haircuts.
does that.
Yeah, I need someone in the booth to do the poll.
No sound.
So okay. Oh, you can't hear me? Now they're saying they can't hear me.
They said no sound.
Oh,
no
so
A
audio.
few people saying they can't hear me. No audio, no sound.
Back now. It's fixed. Good now. Okay,
So
sound
the
is
poll
back.
is gonna be: does IT suck? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, that should be the poll.
All right,
take
they can hear us.
Goodness gracious.
It gets interaction. I mean, we're interacting with the audience. You can see the comments that's coming in and the bright side.
You know what? My hormones have been balanced,
Uh,
so I'm not gonna jump on them.
Oh, praise. I noticed.
If this was like 2 weeks ago, I'd have been cranky and I'd have cursed them out. But I'm all right.
Yeah, you look very relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are kind
I'm
of.
feeling kind of
chill.
well. You know, it hit me like real tired. I think it's a diet. Like certain days, it gets to me.
No carbs.
It gonna gets to me.
can't
Yeah, it's not no carbs.
couldn't
It's
do
like incidental carbs.
Mm.
Like it's not. I'm not purposely eating carbs, right? So like, if a vegetable, it has some carbs in it.
Yeah.
If like the yogurt or the cottage cheese has a little carb, it's in there. But like I'm not.
So you're not eating the pan often. You're not doing that too much.
No. Listen, like twice a week I get to have carbs, but I'm 3 days out from not having.
And you still work out
No,
hard.
like I was able to have some carbs today. I think that's it. Like
That's what it
I was
is.
feeling kind of lightheaded today, and yesterday, like and I had some carbs today, but like when I went to the gym, I was feeling kind of lightheaded.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do cardio because after my stretching and stuff, I felt lightheaded, so I like
Gotta
stopped.
do it.
Yeah,
Because I know you ain't working out light.
I'm not supposed to. Like part of this diet is I'm not supposed to work out that crazy. But it's kind of hard for me to go in and like just not.
Yep.
So I got to modulate it. So I should be cutting back on my volume. I'm starting to feel it. I only got 2 more weeks on this cycle of diet. Nobody think I'm taking. I mean, I don't look like I take. Yeah. So, but it's like secular. It's like I can run it for 6 weeks and then I got to take like a break, 2 weeks maintenance,
Right.
and then I can
good.
get back on or do something else. But I got to see. I hit 160 Saturday. It was 161 this morning.
It's not bad.
Well, it's never just straight down. Like it moves. Sometimes it'll bump up. It depends. Women have it the worst.
Yeah, they
'cause
do.
They like fluid moves through their body, like
Yes.
with their hormones, and then if they're on their menstrual, women have it the worst. Like the scale,
I didn't know all that.
the scale is like a real psychological terror to them. Yeah,
Curses
so,
are real.
Okay.
Yeah, no, women.
Damn.
Yeah. She said Deke looks very matured from last
Yeah.
weekend. Oh, so now you want the poll then?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do the poll, man.
So we were having a discussion with Asher.
It's kind of
because we were doing some new pictures, for like the promos, and Asher was like talking about how Shia lost last week. He's
Right.
like 17 years younger than me or something like that.
Yeah,
and they say he looks older.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you look kind of older than me too.
Yeah, and I said, Deke, you delusional, right?
Right, he said
I
I'm
had to keep it
delusional.
real. I had to speak every man to his neighbor.
I said you even got more gray hairs than me, right? And don't tell anybody. I mean, people if they remember, but don't tell them your age yet. So you want to do the poll?
Let's do the poll. Let's do the poll. Let's do. But listen,
Can I
y'all
put
got to
the
keep
poll?
it real. Y'all got to
Who
keep
looks-
it
Look
real.
at
younger?
He's trying to coach him.
I'm just saying.
Zoom in on that.
You gotta keep it real. Don't vote for Deke just because he's a deacon. That's what you really want to say. Translation.
No, all I'm saying is keep it real. Speak every man true to. He's the young. Who's the young one? Who's the young one? Let's see what they say.
He looks younger.
No, we didn't say who's the young one. We said who looks younger.
Yeah.
Who looks younger? Okay.
Who looks younger?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm doing this.
No, but I look old today. I look old today.
Somebody.
I look old today, man. I know it because I was feeling tired.
Looking at a line. Keep the commandments, man. The fill is in younger. No leading the witness, officer.
Wow. Right. That's what you doing
right
now, bro.
Why you trying to? Can you stop?
Doing.
Can you stop
all right,
doing that?
I'm gonna shut up.
We're gonna keep talking while the poll goes. All right.
All right. I'm gonna let the.
Anyway, let me see what sis say here. She said,
you guys got to vote on the poll.
In AZ. Last week, someone put a human trafficking set on my side of the phone. What do you mean on a set on the side of the phone? I know trafficking is big here in Arizona. Just proximity. So we got the most fentanyl that comes through here. Mm-hmm. And I think human trafficking, I don't know if we're the most, but we're one of the top.
That is true, Zamira.
And they call everything trafficking now. Like back in the day, like when you had a pimp with, and like if you have a pimp, they call it trafficking. Mm-hmm. So, and like she might be working for the pimp like because she wants to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but they call that So it's kind of a little bit of a catch-all, so that skews the numbers. When I think of trafficking, I'm thinking of like taking.
Right.
Where they kind of took you and they like drug you up and tie you to a bed. And I know there's other forms. I don't want to be insensitive to that. Mm-hmm. It's legit. And like a lot of our sisters and even brothers go missing, and they don't look for us. And it's scary because you got that trafficking, you got the organ harvesting thing.
Yeah, that's real stuff.
That's real stuff. That be happening. And I think you just get more news and information about it now. But the trafficking's like, it's scary.
Have you seen that movie Freedom?
No.
Sound of Freedom.
The Sound of Freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to watch that one.
I want to check. I want to check it out.
It speaks on those things.
I want to check it out.
What it is.
Captain Zev calls me the little boy that
Damn,
got kidnapped.
No, you did.
That's one of his jokes. I'm like, Captain Zev, you don't stop.
Right. Oh, Arizona's one of the top in women rape as well. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's such a disgusting crime.
It's because of ASU.
I hate it.
ASU?
Oh, yeah.
You winning, Asher. But damn, it should be a landslide.
He barely
That's
winning?
what I'm saying. They just
42% say me.
Deacon skin
I think I
looks
voted
clear.
for
That's
you.
True.
I think I voted for you.
I appreciate it. I voted for myself too. I appreciate you, Deacon.
Get out of here.
That vainglory. Damn.
Oh man.
All right. Come on, man. Let's focus on the.
Hey, look at Tanya. I wasn't gonna let her have a Power Hour cup.
Oh, you gave her one?
I hooked her up.
Yeah? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So she's been talking about her Power Hour cup.
Oh, praises. Hey.
She been getting it in her Power cup. Yep. Oh man. Anyway, all praises. All right, Asher's winning. Okay, they're bumping it up. They're bumping it up. You won, Asher. Okay. You won. But last week I would have beat you, bro.
Last week? Why?
Last week I would have beat you.
Why last week?
I don't know. I was just looking extra. I'm not feeling it today.
Like the Ashaya, I can see that. Because Ashaya.
Well, you know what? Ashaya's stomach. He got the dad bod going.
He got the dad bod.
Yeah.
I think his diet might contribute to some of the skin.
you got the broad shoulders and
Oh shoot.
And I think because you're shorter than me too.
Damn.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I wasn't gonna
right.
be
Like he just gives off kid vibes.
You can't even tell with the position right now.
Like I'm not even mad at the poll results because I think if we would have gave qualifiers, like if we would have gave qualifiers, like I would have won.
Oh, it's got to be more advanced, the poll?
Yeah.
Hey, that brings me back to, remember the poll that we did for the sisters? Remember it was a whole joint? We went to the website and all that? We should bring that back sometime.
That's exactly, Sister Brenda, that's exactly. See, I was trying to say it nicer. Sister Brenda went for the jugular.
Wow.
For the jugular.
Well, Brenda, we obviously we in a particular setting. Of course, we joking around. See, she got hit me with that. We talking about appearance here. Who looks younger? She over here talking about character.
Officer Asher. Listen.
Now I'm getting. See, listen. Oh, okay.
Nothing more than feelings.
Oh No, that
trolling.
was
Y'all
hey,
trolling.
hey, IT. I forgive you for earlier. That was perfect timing as he started his
Right.
poor explanation.
Right.
Damn. now they're asking how old we are.
No. Listen, I understand. Like if you were here and you would see his face sometimes, and you know, like his skin quality and stuff, you would think he's older.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
My skin
I
quality.
ain't mad at all.
My skin
Trust me.
quality did.
I know where my age is. I'm quite all right with it. I'm quite all right with it. It is what it is.
Definitely the
You
hairline.
look great for your
somebody
age,
said.
actually.
Oh, Lord.
Well, all praises for
only
that.
do.
Lord's will, I could stay that way. Well, I'll stay that way. Damn, Brenda hit the nail on the head though. I think that's what it is.
she
Oh snap! Someone say Asher looks 21 with a 35-year face and needs a haircut. Oh snap! Damn, cold blooded.
A 35-year-old face that needs a haircut. I do need a haircut.
Hey, so I didn't finish going over, what I went over. As far as I still kept missing my scripts that I wanted to bring it home, but I'm not gonna do it because I was looking at the show because I was trying to check subscribers and everything earlier, and it was 5 weeks that we did that topic. 5 weeks we went over Northern Kingdom, right? 5 weeks.
It's a heavy topic.
So no, we could keep going, but we're gonna shift.
It's broad.
We're gonna shift. Part of what we're gonna talk about today stems a little bit from what I was going over on New Moon out here. He wanted more Godhead.
Yeah.
More cowbell. He wanted more Godhead. All of you guys kept talking about Godhead. That part was done.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The tie-in works better when you go into the Godhead, but if I try to run it back and do that, I won't be able to get it done because I couldn't get it done on New Moon, so I couldn't.
Right.
The point was a setup. I wasn't so much trying to go into the Godhead, but it was. My emphasis was going to shift to that. When he says he gave us all wisdom and how we should live our life and everything. Which verse was that? Give me that. Let me see. Let me go to my notes. We're going to do our health piece before we get into the other stuff, but
that Romans 1?
Nope. I don't think so. Hold on. Was it Acts 17?
Yeah.
Was it in Acts 17? Which verse?
Why Deke is looking for that? Everyone, shout out your city. Where you streaming in from? Where you watching from? And to catch up on the class that he's talking about, it will be posted on IUIC Phoenix, but you have to be subscribed to get the notice.
27.
So stay tuned.
Nope, that's not it. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna bring my point.
Hey, also Job, you got a sin of the night for us?
I got the same sin on. Saddlewood. I got the
Saddlewood.
I got the Saddlewood on. And what scent do you got on? You have a scent on?
Tobacco vanilla.
Yes, sir. You got a scent, Officer Asher?
Mm-hmm. He hasn't. He hasn't bought anything.
He haven't brought it because he don't support. Deke, do you have a scent?
I got something tobacco on. I don't remember.
Tobacco?
I don't remember which one I put. But I'm telling you, it was that kind of day.
Hey,
That
but
kinda
hey,
day.
if you want to know what scents there are, just go at the top right of the screen. Go in order. We got scents, all types of scents. You can pick a scent per day of the week. So go there and order your beard oil.
Yo, check it out. So we got 317 people watching. Can we please bring those lights up?
Yeah,
Bring those
refresh.
lights
Make
up.
sure you got the likes where it needs to be. Refresh.
Got 317, 174. Let's bring them likes up. Let's bring them up.
I can't. I know. We went over it. Because it wasn't a note. It was just something that I emphasized, and I can't find it right now.
You remember what it
Cannot
was?
Find it. Yeah, it
What it
said
said?
something about how we live by him and through him and all of that. I can't remember.
Yeah, baby, we live. Yeah, baby, we live.
I want to say it was in the Old Testament.
Was it that Isaiah?
I can't remember.
Isaiah 40 or something like that?
I
Let me
can't
see, let me
remember,
see.
bro. I want to say it was in the whole. It was flowing for New Moon. It was flowing for New Moon.
Not the Isaiah 48:1, right?
Nah, I don't think it says that in Isaiah 48:1. No, you guys want me to go back to that. I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back to that part of it. Well, when the class comes out, they'll get it. Well, I don't need it to go through what I'm going to go through, but.
Right. That class was fire.
Hey, so what do we got on the videos? What do we got on the videos? All right. Should we go with the crazy of the, which one didn't we go over? I'm not going to go over the don't touch receipts. Well, yeah, I guess, because that, well, let me do that one first. You know, I like to give you a little health stuff, right? Check it out. Because, stop. I know people are going to talk about this, but there's this doctor that I follow, and he's going to give some credence to it, but it's not this serious, basically, right? So go ahead, play this.
This is why you don't ever want to touch the receipts on thermal paper. These thermal paper receipts contain BPA and BPS. So these are endocrine disrupting chemicals that can actually be absorbed through your skin. I'm just going to use my handy dandy wool shirt here to put the receipt in the trash.
Stop. Right? So, you know, he talks about he grabs his wool shirt to put the receipt in the trash. And I know people probably saw this on the news and they got all, you know, are you following social media? I'm going with this one first because the other one's going to go into. Remember, my theme is just be careful of the information you consume and take as.
I mean, this looks crazy
legit,
already.
Right? No. He actually, just listen. All right? But my point is, it ain't that serious. Yeah. Go ahead. Come on.
Touch it. So
the first thing I'd say is that yes, these receipts do contain BPA and they can be transferred to your skin. But remember that your skin is a barrier and defense against many things. If it let everything through, we wouldn't be alive today. So whilst a tiny amount can be absorbed into your blood, also know that BPA is rapidly metabolized by the liver and almost completely excreted in your urine within 24 hours, so it doesn't bioaccumulate. He then claims that touching these receipts can be messing up your hormones. Let me remind you that there is zero evidence in humans showing that the level of exposure the normal person gets from receipt touching has any adverse effects for hormone levels. Literally zero. Do you want to know what there is strong evidence for? Increasing social media use being strongly associated with eating concerns, health anxiety, and depressive symptoms.
Stop.
And
Do you see that? He says, because people will see that, oh, I knew it, them damn receipts, they trying to kill us. And he says, yes, right? The BPA does show that there's a certain level of absorption that happens. But your body, in the perfection that the Most High made it, made it so that you can live in the world that he created for you.
Right. That's it.
You don't have to walk in a bubble.
Right.
And yes, I get it. It's not the same world that he exactly did from the creation with all this technology and all these inventions. Yes, there's air pollution. Yes, there's things with I didn't read the article. There's something that's saying they finding out that certain tap water now is messing up your, like, you know, this information comes out and there's no context to it. And he says your body has a way that it processes toxins out, right? I don't know if you heard the term toxicities in the dose, right? So unless you have some sort of condition or whatever it is that's diagnosed, not self-diagnosed, right? That's the other thing that Israel tends to do. A lot of these things are known and your body processes them, like radiation, right? We live in a world where radiation, if there was no technology, there's radio waves and there's radiation in the atmosphere, right? Obviously, at smaller levels, there's more of it now because of all the technology and airwaves and everything else, right? But your body has a dose that it can process, so which is why you need to be primed, right? Have good health, have your 4 pillars in shape, and you can process these things through better. But what he says, what there is evidence for, is that people have higher levels of anxiety because of social media. It's altering their diets and they're confused and they don't know what to do, and it's creating disordered eating patterns because you hear one thing here, you hear one thing there, which is why I've made this kind of a continual segment on the show for the most part where I'll highlight something and I'll speak about it. And a lot of the times these things are overblown and you're making yourself sick, right? Give me the one about much carefulness, bring of age before the time. Get me that, all right? And then we'll run it back a few seconds, right?
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 25.
Bring it out!
Verse 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Right. Carefulness meaning worry. And you live in this environment where you don't know how to filter the information that's given to you, right? Just like we fell for Christianity for many years, just like we fell for politics for many years, until the truth had kind of set us more right? And it moved us in the right direction. What happens is, because we are rightly so a suspicious people for all the different things that have been done to us, right? We are very wary of certain things. But, you got to kind of understand, like, there is a God, right? Like, do you think, like, he's just going to hit you with everything? And, like, he preserved us through all the captivities and all those atrocities, and you think the receipt's going to get you now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't make sense. Like, we kind of go off when it comes to filtering this information, right? And it's almost to our detriment, right? Like, I've said this before. It's so normalized for your teeth to get pulled out, going to the dentist amongst our people. And that's not normal, because if you would have just went regularly to maintain yourself with the dentist, those things wouldn't happen. If you weren't nasty with your oral hygiene habits at home, stuff like that wouldn't happen, right? If you treated your body a little better, and I'm not even just talking about weight, but with the type of things you ate and how frequently you ate them, And then I always circle back to the alcohol. Alcohol is a known toxin. The way it works in your body and that feeling that you get is because it's toxic, right? It creates that effect because a toxic thing is going on in your body, and your liver has to filter it out, right? Because that's the filter for the body for the most part. Liver, spleen, kidneys too will then filter some of that, but your liver is the primary. It's called first pass. Anything you ingest has to go through the liver. They call it first pass, right? That's why when you take something, they say it takes about 30 minutes. On average, it'll take about 30 minutes before your body lets you get it into your bloodstream. It passes through the liver. All right? So you'll eat something, it gets into your stomach, it gets into your intestines. From there, it filters through your liver first before it'll deliver it to the blood to get to everything else, right? The only way you bypass the liver is when you give injections. All right? That's when you bypass the liver. Anything you put in your mouth orally, your liver, this is why it's such an important organ. And this is why with alcohol, it's the organ that gets the most damaged, right? People who have chronic alcohol use, it gets damaged through the liver, right? Some things primarily processed through the kidneys, and then you'll have kidney issues and kidney damage, right? Depending on what the load is and what's going on there. But the Lord made all these systems in us and all these organs, not randomly, but perfectly. Right? And almost everything in nature either has those components or something that does the same thing, right? So if a creature might not have a liver or kidneys, it has something that serves the purpose of a liver or kidney, right? So in creation, there's these details that often are not spoken about, right? But when it talks about we're wonderfully made and all of that, Christians like to take that, to get into their glory, hallelujah. But we're made in a way that there's things that our body has in place to protect us. And that's the thing that you really got to put in play. And you optimize that through the dietary instructions that the scriptures gave us on how we do those things, right? We've gone over this at length. I'm not going to go into all those scriptures so that the health piece doesn't take so long today. But we have to consider those things and not take everything that we see or hear, because we're also prone to be what they call mental health. But what you really do is let spirits in, right? Read the scripture again. Come on.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life.
Envy and wrath. So he's letting you know emotionally, it has feelings, has an effect on your body. So those people who have envious spirits, that have wrathful spirits, like everything's anger for you, and that's how you process things. He says that type of stuff, when it says it shortens the life, it means it has an effect on your body.
Yeah, that's real.
Physiologically, emotions, unregulated, and especially the like of envy and wrath being the most severe, they have systemic issues that happen in your body, right?
More prone to sickness, correct?
More prone to sickness. There's different things that happen in your body hormonally, chemically, right? Because, yes, we have chemicals in our body that our body produces, right? I mean, oxygen's a chemical, right? Carbon dioxide's processed through our system. That's a chemical, right? The acid in our stomach has a chemical makeup, right? Chemicals is not just the red dyes and stuff that they're removing and all this other things like that. There's other aspects to chemicals, right? Go ahead, read this again.
Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
And look, even carefulness, he's talking about worry, this concern. And what he's basically saying here is that people are bugging out. You got to understand, they call these guys influencers for a reason. There's a persuasion happening, right? They want to influence you to do something. And a lot of them, and listen, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Some people aspire to do something like that. But a lot of people will put their ethics and morals aside or convince themselves that what they're doing is ethically and morally correct. Just so that they can make their living. You got to realize a lot of people make their, and if it's not off of what they get from social media, there's usually something behind it. People will use them to sponsor. They pay a percentage of their sales. They'll recommend you products for that stuff. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but the people who have good morals will be upfront about that. They say, hey, I get paid to recommend this, but I also believe in it, right? And then there's a bigger picture that you look at it.
Right.
But a lot of times they're telling you buy this or buy that, and they'll point you to a specific brand or a specific website, and it's because it's theirs, and they make money off of it. People who have integrity will be upfront about that.
Right.
Hey, you know, I use this. This is my brand. I get compensated for this brand, and, you know, I recommend this type of thing. I don't get compensated for anything, so anything I recommend to you comes from a sincere place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not to say that just because they do that doesn't mean, you know, like there's one guy, Jim Supplement Science. I like some of his supplements, right? But I know that it's his company and that he pushes it, right? So he's right. Like there's just ways you got to filter this information. But carefulness bringeth age before the time, right? Meaning you get that effect in your body where it messes you up. And that's why I think it's laughable to me, because a lot of Israel has alcohol habits, and alcohol is literally a toxin for your body. And that doesn't concern you as much as your receipt that you're going to touch, as the dairy that you're trying to drink, as the sugar that you say is poison, and this and that and the other. Yet you literally ingest poison when you're drinking alcohol, right? And mind you, I'm not against it. The Bible talks about strong drink. It talks about wine. I said this before. I love red wine, right? I like a good single malt scotch or a bourbon, okay? But it's all in a level of real moderation, because not everybody understands what moderation
Real moderation.
is.
Wait,
Right?
wait, not one a night?
No, not one a night.
Nah, that's not
Not
moderation.
drinking every night is not moderation. I'm going to say right now, drinking every night is not moderation.
Somebody's like, you killing my nightcap.
If you got to have a drink every night, that's not moderation, right? That's not moderation. Go ahead, run it back to before when he talks about the BPA.
Let me remind you that there is zero evidence in humans showing that the level of
stop.
exposure...
It's not even about melanin for the synthetic chemicals. The skin is a barrier to chemicals, right? The melanin helps protect you from UV rays, but even too much exposure to those UV rays, dark-skinned people get what's the skin cancer one? It's not melanoma. Melanoma's in the lungs, right? It is melanoma, I think, the skin cancer. They get skin cancer also, far less than lighter people, but they can don't trick yourself into thinking that, right? Like too much exposure can jack you up too from the ultraviolet lights, right?
It is melanoma.
Yeah, it is melanoma, right? Too much exposure, like you can look it up, right? Like there are skin things that can happen. It's not the melanin, it's the skin. Melanin does have some protective properties for other things, but it's not because of chemical stuff, right? It's more things that are based on the sun. What happens because of the melanin is we don't tend to produce as much vitamin D because we need much more sun exposure. And that really stems from more of how we live nowadays, where we're kind of indoors more, right? People who spend a lot of time outside might not have that issue, but amongst our people, vitamin D deficiency is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's something that, and doctors don't typically test for that unless you ask them to. So, you know, if you have certain symptoms of lethargy, feeling always run down and fatigued, you might want to ask them to test for that. It's not necessarily, you know, and I'm talking about, let's say you've worked on the sleep, you've worked on the diet, you work on the exercise, and you still feel a certain way. Vitamin D deficiency is a real thing amongst Israel, right? But it's less about the melanin. It's the skin's a barrier. But go ahead, play this. Come on.
The normal person gets from receipt touching has any adverse effects for hormone levels. Literally zero. Do you want to know what there is strong evidence for? Increasing social media use being strongly associated with eating concerns, health anxiety, and depressive symptoms.
Stop. So increased social media use is showing a direct correlation with anxiety, health anxiety, eating disorders, right? Go ahead, play.
And you want to know what kind of content increases the risk of all those issues? Yeah, you guessed it, fear-mongering wellness videos by Muppets in the supermarket. So actually, ignoring videos like this that make claims without evidence and rely on fear is going to benefit your health far more than using your handy-dandy wool shirt to hold a receipt. Glasses missed.
Damn. There you go. There you go. We got to consider that stuff. We got to consider that stuff, right?
Hey, Deke. Can I pull something real quick in
Yeah,
regards
go
to
ahead.
that? Give me Matthew 10 and then read verse 29 for me real quick. Because of all those things, all the dangers in the world, like it says in the New Testament, you must needs go out the world for some of these things, right? So you got to put your trust in the Lord, like it says right here. Watch this.
29.
Yeah, Matthew 10.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 10, verse 29.
Because you're going to have all these different issues and all the food that we eat's defiled, the things that we see is defiled. We got radiation. All these things trouble us, obviously, right? Watch this.
Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing?
So this is Christ. He said, are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? A farthing is probably half a penny. Go ahead.
And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father.
And yet not one of those sparrows that is worth less than a penny shall fall on the ground without your Father. So the Lord has full control over every single one of his creations. Go ahead.
But the very hairs of your head are all numbered.
He said, listen, the very hairs on your head are all numbered. That's how involved he is in your life. So for those that believe, you need not to worry. Watch the next verse.
Fear ye not, therefore.
So don't fear. Watch this.
You're of more value than many sparrows.
Are you not God's greatest creation?
That's it.
Hey, D, I like what you said about the body, how the Lord created the body in order to fight against all these things. How much the more when you keep God's commandments?
How much the more? We know we have that shield. Come on, man. If he says no divination and none of that can touch Israel, right?
Right. That's the spiritual aspect.
Then you really think that if you're following what the scripture says and how we should live, which also includes that, and this is going to tie into the wisdom that we're going to go over. The wisdom is in the scriptures for health, for all this stuff, right? Get me the one about oppositions of science, right? Because everybody forgets the opposition part. We throw science, and I've said this before, science really just means knowledge, right? But Esau took the word to apply it to what they call the sciences.
Yeah.
So you have these things like chemistry, you have these things like biology, and they call it science. And it's gotten kind of twisted because we think science and we think scientists doing experiments, right?
It's almost like they put a negative connotation on it.
They put a negative connotation on it. But science, and like I said, you see this in the Spanish Bibles a lot. They call wisdom ciencia, right? Which is, and it's the same word that you use for science, right? But go ahead, read this real quick because there's a distinction here that people don't realize, right? Go ahead, come on.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, and avoid profane and vain babbling.
Right, so he says, what you know in the scriptures, what's been given to you and built up, keep that to you, right? And avoid profane and vain babblings. Like when people come with doctrines, and supposedly they're believers, but this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to sharpen you guys in wisdom so that we don't sound so dumb with the things that we talk about. Are there what they call conspiracies, which is a negative connotation word because they want it to make it sound like we're nuts? But guess what? They are freaking conspiracies. It's proof. They have conspired against us as a people medically. They look to do things to us, and not just us. They do things to everybody in the world because they don't care about the collateral damage that they do. All those things are true, but we have a God that stands for us and protects us. We shouldn't be so blinded to these things that we just think everything is bad for us. And then you look at your habits. Don't tell me that unless your 4 pillars are on point. If you don't have the discipline, because you know what's interesting about the 4 pillars? You control them 100%.
Right.
We have a victim mentality, and though we've been victimized, it's time we stand up once we have these scriptures. There's no excuse. We have all this wisdom, and this is kind of where I was going to lead to the second part of my class for New Moon, is that I hate the ignorance that we have. Christ gave us all knowledge from the beginning. Everything we need to survive this earth and all the wickedness that's amongst us is here. But we start to pull from that fear and that anxiety other things. And what you don't realize is that when you move to that, you're actually letting your oppressors win, because that's the mentality that they've put in us. And you know how when they say we're not going to let terrorists make us scared, right? Which is kind of true, right? That's what they want. That's the whole point of terrorist acts. It's supposed to what?
Instill fear.
Instill fear in you so that you change your way of life. The only change we got to make is how much we adhere to these scriptures. And we have to elevate that. You remember and get me the one, remember we had the video, Don't Trust a 400-pound Pastor? Damn.
Yep.
Because that's going to go with what I'm saying here. I'm tired of the shit talking that our people do. I'm going to say it plain. And you lack things in your life simply by your choice. The 4 pillars, God, which under that falls the study, pray, apply, that's 100% in your control, right? I'm sorry, get me an opportunity of leisure before we go back to here where I'm not done with oppositions of science, right? The 4 pillars is 100% in your control. The study, pray, apply, how much you know and build yourself in the scriptures is entirely up to you. And then get me Jude about build yourself in your holy faith, right? Go ahead, read this first.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
The wisdom of a learned man come by opportunity of leisure. Put quite simply, what that means is it's 100% up to you, because the Lord have given us all those things from the beginning so that we may understand all things that we need to understand. Though we see through a glass darkly, that which we have is enough. That's why at the end, Christ tells us in Revelation, that which you have, hold fast till I come. And you think that just means prophecy. You think that just means the ceremonial laws. There's subtle wisdom in the scriptures. That's why the topic today is called wisdom, the instruction of a father. Our forefathers, through the Spirit of the Most High in Christ, have left us wisdom on everything.
Everything.
And we'll jump to our biases, and we don't realize that. Self-examination is not just about purging out the sin that's in you. It starts with that. But once you start to eliminate those things and you become the captain, the master of your soul, your spirit, now you start to can go and get more nuanced. You can get into the more granular things to fix yourself. Because if you can do the hard one of subduing your lust, your desires, your appetites, then the other stuff should be easy to go like a fine-tooth comb, right? Get me in Hebrews about the word of the Lord is like a two-edged sword, right? And then where else did I say to go?
I got Jude.
And then Jude, right? And then after this one, we go to Jude. Go ahead, come on.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
That's why they got the other scripture where it talks about like when he looks into the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And you remember who you are, but when you walk away, straight away you forget. When we're in the scriptures, we see it. We're rah-rah with this, that, and the other. The joke I had Tuesday was everybody's only going to remember the Godhead stuff, and they're not going to remember the point I was making in trying to pull it together, right? Or Monday, right? It was Monday. I did the New Moon class, right? I said everybody's going to get excited and just remember that. And then you forget all the other little nuanced things to work in those things. True knowledge is really, true wisdom is really application of those things that you learn. And you keep seeking to do those things to build yourself. Because guess what? Once you stop building, you're always being built upon, whether you do it actively or not. Because somebody always wants to give you some sort of information to influence you. If you don't take that accountability, that opportunity of leisure, which is your choice, it's by your discipline. The 4 pillars are your discipline. You can either actively learn those things and seek them out in the scriptures and then look to understand them in what the Lord has put in front of us. Or you can ignore them and hold to your emotional biases, and guess what? You're still getting taught and programmed something. And that's what I mean by like that you're actually succumbing to what they've done to us, right? All of that falls under the Willie Lynch, right? It starts at a high level with the division, and then what goes under that is creating all these things inside of us that we're not able to kind of overcome that aspect of it, right? And this is where faith kind of comes into play, that we get to that we get more built up in that. Read this.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 4, and verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
And that, what it means is that at the end of the day, the word of God is going to overcome all those type of things. But it doesn't mean that because somebody's not using the Bible and what they're explaining to you, that is necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
They just not able to see the spiritual side of what's being said to you.
Right.
You know how like we can watch a movie, right? And we'll say, oh, damn, that's spiritual here, that's spiritual there.
Yeah.
You can read a book, you can see an interaction, you can read something and see the spirituality in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level that we have to build ourselves to, right? Go ahead, come on, read.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Because what happens is this is the divider. This is the thing that's going to show you who you are more than anybody else. But until you can build yourself in that, you need experienced men who have, by exercise of use, are able to discern between good and evil to help guide you as counselors, right?
it.
To help guide you as counselors. Get me that one. Is it Sirach? Is in the 40s about wise, eloquent instructors.
Yes,
you know
sir.
which one I'm talking about? Just get it ready, but finish Hebrews. Go ahead. Come on.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
Right, and it's a two-edged sword. Why? Because it cuts both ways. It's not just when it's dealing with something that's wrong with you. It's a discerner, it's going to say. It's a discerner, right? Go ahead, read.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
It pierces to soul and spirit. Right? Go ahead, come on.
And of the joints and marrow.
And of the joints and marrow, meaning what? Physical application of things that's going to help you in this earthly body that we have. It's going to help you with that also, right?
see it that
So
way.
it's not just the spiritual, it's the physical too. Go ahead, come on.
And is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Get me the definition of discerner, and then you can cue up the other scripture in Sirach that I told you about, and then we'll finish with Jude. Go ahead, come on. Get me discern definition, and I also want the definition of science for when I come back to Timothy's. All right? Discern. Get that up. If y'all see like I'm giving one of y'all too much, one of you back up and get another one, all right? Because
sir.
I don't necessarily call for two readers, but sometimes I'm throwing verses
you
out and I don't want to
sometimes.
forget them. So make sure that y'all grabbing them. Go ahead, come on. No, not science. I want discern first. I said also get science. I want discern. Okay.
There
All
it
right.
is. Definition of discern: to perceive or recognize something.
To perceive or recognize something. To perceive or recognize something. Now read the second one. Distinguish.
Distinguish someone or something with difficulty by sight or with the other senses.
With the other senses. You have to detect. You have to recognize. There's an observation, right? You have to identify. These are all similar synonyms for these words, right? Differentiate. Look at that. Discriminate. Be discriminate in what you allow yourself to believe and apply and accept as a doctrine. You know, that goes back to the superstitions. Get that one for me in Acts 17. Now, but we're not going to read it yet. You stay with me with what? Because I got your fingers in a lot of stuff. I got your fingers in a lot of stuff. Go back to Hebrews, read it from the beginning, and then I want the Sirach.
The book of Acts, or the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
Come on.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Right. It's going to show you what's in your soul and spirit, which is who we really are. Go ahead. Come on.
And of the joints and marrow.
And of the joints and marrow, right? Meaning what? Yes, you could say spiritually, joints and marrow getting real, but it deals with the physical as well. We are here. There's a physical body and there's a heavenly body. And we still have to maintain what we have here. Go ahead, come on.
And is a discerner.
And is a discerner, meaning it's going to help you perceive or recognize things that would be difficult otherwise to see. Go ahead, come on.
Of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Of what's really your thoughts and intents. And your propensity to let this social media influence you to the extent that it does shows how much more you need these type of things and information. If you're offended and you're defending anything that I ever go over on this show, I'm not saying I'm always right. I can be wrong. Man is not always right. I'm usually on point. I can say that confidently. But I'm also quick to identify if I'm wrong or I'm off. You need to be able to at least receive the information, even from what's coming out here.
Consider it.
Consider it and discern with it. And discern with it.
Hey,
if your thing is to automatically default to your bias and you can't defend it scripturally or speak intelligently about it. And when I say intelligent, I'm not saying you have to have big words and stuff like that, but make it make sense when you explain your dairy avoidance.
Right.
You tell me you're lactose intolerant, I respect that. You tell me that you have a condition that messes you up. You notice that, it's this, that, and the other. I know food allergies are a real thing. But if you're just going to drop to me the same BS that you saw on social media, it's pus, it's this, it's that. But the scripture says that I can have that.
Right.
That he offered it to the angels, and the angels didn't say, "What the hell you doing bringing me that?"
Right.
Yep. Right.
Go away. Bye, Felicia. Bye. All right. Get me Sirach.
The book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 1. Let us now praise famous men.
Oh, why? But why do you praise them? Right? Go ahead, come on.
And our fathers that begat us.
And our fathers that begat us. We're talking about the fathers here, first and foremost, that we got in the scriptures, the instruction of a father, all right? And the respect that we're going to have to the men that are what? Remember, the scripture says, be like a father to the fatherless, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 4, leaders of the people by their counsel.
Leaders of the people. The leaders of the people are to be seen as fathers. And I don't mean, don't be calling me dad.
Right.
I don't need none of that stuff, all right? I have a title that I've earned. You call me by my title, all right? Because we keep that respect and those boundaries. All right. I have a title that I've earned in this walk. I don't need to be seen as anybody's father. All right. We just went over the whole age thing anyway. All right. I don't need a 30-year-old calling me pops. All right. You know what I'm saying? I don't need
Somebody
none of that.
sounded like your son.
Okay. But it's talking about the endearment of a father. Right. And a lot of us don't know how to process that either, because our fathers either weren't there or they were not the fathers that we needed as far as what the scriptures were supposed to show us. If your father was showing you it's all right to whoremonger, one the good guy for you. If he was showing you that by example that it was all right to have multiple baby mamas, you didn't have a good pops to show you anything. And I don't care that he might have provided food and paid the child support and all of that. Fathers are supposed to provide wisdom, right? We're reading that in this verse here. Read it from the top again. Come on.
Leaders of the people by their counsel.
Leaders of the people by what? By their counsels. Because they're going to use, like what we read in Hebrews, the word of God. And that doesn't mean they're necessarily always going to quote a verse. But they're profound in wisdom because their discernment is sharper because of exercise of use in application and helping others apply. Go ahead, come on.
By their counsels and by their knowledge of learning.
And by their knowledge of learning, first and foremost of the scriptures, but also having the ability. You don't think that there's carryover, that a strong leader or teacher that has that gift can rightly divide the word of truth, and that doesn't carry over to other areas?
Right. 100%.
Yeah. 100.
If you can be bomb in this, you should be able to pick up almost anything.
Yeah.
Because we are the greatest people. Are we not the greatest people?
Yes, sir.
Are we not the greatest, most precious thing that the Lord created for himself?
Bring it out.
So then we should be able to apply that to anything else.
Right.
Go ahead, read.
Yeah. Knowledge of learning meet for the people.
Knowledge of learning that is meat for the people. The things that we bring out is sufficient for the people, meaning what? You know when to prescribe what, when to bring this out, and when to say that. Go ahead, come on.
Wise and eloquent in their instruction.
Wise and eloquent. You know what the eloquent is? A lot of times, yes, part of that is being able to speak a certain way, right? Part of that is the charisma in speaking, being able to compel people, right? Part of that sometimes is having a vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
That because it's not about using big words as much as it is that a word will pique interest in somebody.
Right.
Words have power and potency. And though there are many ways to say something, so example, if we would have read Hebrews and it would have said the scriptures helps you detect, sure, you would get the sense, but discernment.
Right. There's a power in that. And then when you look
it's
it
much more
up,
profound. And then when you look it up, you're like, wow.
That's what I was gonna say. The distinguish with difficulty by sight or with other senses. That gives more substance when Sirach talks about you judge a man by his look. That's one sense. You try words. You use your ear.
Yes.
All that.
All of that.
Heavy.
Right. See, and it's making
You
the
know what I'm
juices
saying?
flow in your dome, right?
Right.
That's the power of word, and that's why the Lord used certain words, and that's why you get like these watered down versions of the scriptures, like they come with the NKJV, right?
Yep.
The NAV, right? And though we may reference some sometimes to throw it in someone's face that tries to say something don't say what it's saying, right? The potency of the words in what amounts to that first English translation, right? Because if you look up the history in the Bible Dictionary of the translations, the King James Version was the first one that made the Bible widely available to everyone. And that's the Lord's brilliance also, because prior to that, you had to be, you had to know letters, so to speak, like the scriptures say, to be able to understand these things. But as times became more modern, it became more exclusive. Latin is a dead language as far as in use. There's things that you read in Latin still to this day, and it's a foundation of a lot of English language today. But the Lord put the Spirit on King James to be able to translate this, and in the fashion and manner and how he did. If you haven't done it, get a Bible. If you don't have a Bible dictionary, first of all, you're off in your learning. Go get a Bible dictionary. We recommend the Zondervan's Compact. All right, there's more extensive ones, and look up Bibles and look up the history of how the Bible and what it was written like and how it was translated. Right. So there's potency in the words that we bring out. So when you read and it says wise and eloquent, it doesn't just mean that they're using certain vocabulary that makes people sound intelligent, because people can use words. It reminds me of that one movie where they were in college, the football movie. I think James Caan was the coach, and he had the one brother that he would use words, but they were kind of out of context. I can't remember the name of the movie. They had one dude that you knew he was using steroids. The coach turned a blind eye because it made them a better team.
Is it that one?
That's it, the program, right? And it was Omar Epps' character.
You know all
that
these
would
movies,
use
Steve.
these words. I like movies a lot. I was big into movies.
How do you remember all this?
Yeah, it just comes to me in the moment. Like when it just
goes, kicks in,
I don't know. It just comes in the moment. And I believe Omar Epps had a role in this, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I believe he was in this. I'm trusting IT if they brought it up. I believe it was this one, and he would speak a certain way. And there was one scene where the girl called him, look, you use these words because you think it makes you sound intelligent, right? But there's a way that you're in season when you use these things. So it's not about the words you use, it's how effective you are with it. So the eloquent is that you're able to really kind of divide that word and give the sense to people, right? Because I know we talk about speak plainly, and on the surface, right? If you don't know how to develop those words that you use in your vocabulary so that others can understand, that's why sometimes I'll stop and I'll give a definition of a word. But then I'll still use that word after I help you define it because of the potency in that, right?
And then that teaches them too. Learn a new word, definition, and
exactly.
all that.
I got something for you.
Bring it out.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 11. The words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd.
Right, so he's letting you know, and the one shepherd's dealing with, we get all that knowledge and all that wisdom from the Godhead, which is Christ. And we're able to have that for our instructions to live. And it's letting you know that he's describing this the same way he would describe like a carpenter being able to give something out, like an artificer that has a certain talent and skill. Right? We all know letters, we all know words, but some of us, right, through and yes, part of it is a gift. Not everybody will attain to that. But how do you know that that's not your gift unless you cultivate that? Don't automatically limit yourself to those things, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words.
Acceptable words. Meaning, that reminds me of when Paul says to the weak, I was weak to the strong, right? Yep. Meaning, I got to be able to acclimate to the audience that I have.
Right.
Because I want to gain them.
So that would be the eloquency. That's an aspect of it.
Yes, he's breaking down eloquency by going to this verse. He's expounding on what the eloquent is even more. Go ahead, come on.
And that which was written was upright, Even words of truth.
Right, and that what was written is right, even words of truth. And again, something who's really great at that, because Asaph can obviously quote scripture, Deacon Asaph, but he's very good at taking what he has here and giving you acceptable words for you to kind of get it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I always liked about him, because sometimes I would sit in a council with him and maybe one scripture came out, but everything he said was biblical.
Damn.
And don't get it twisted that because me and Bishop Yawasop have had this discussion at times where a lot of times we want to jump to the next verse. We want to move, right? And, there's a time and a place for that when you're doing a class or whatever. But you really got to be able to stop sometimes. And that's why he's a master at being able to pull all that meat off the bone, right? Let all that butter seep in. Because he's able to recognize, and we've had these discussions, that you don't have to have... Y'all seen me sometimes that I'll have one little page of notes and it's a 2-hour class and I didn't even get to finish.
Right.
And it's not because I'm just going on talking. It's we're hitting them verses and we're hitting them scriptures and really bringing that out, right? And other brothers have those gifts as well, and we're able to do that. Why are we able to receive that, but then you jump on a 1-minute reel, and now your whole dynamic and all this stuff has gone out the window, right? Go to Jude, I said, right?
The book of Jude, verse 20.
So now you take all of this, and this is why I said it's up to you. We started with wisdom, knowledge come with the opportunity of leisure, right? And I'm saying you guys like to spew things out without any type of discernment. And it says that it's only going to come through opportunity of leisure. Why? Because you went to YouTube, you saw a bunch of reels, and you think you got it. And you think you got it. And don't get me wrong, there's some good information in those things. But scriptures, spirituality pops into my head, and that's why I use these stuff on the show. I pop these things up. You would see the same reel that I'm using on a show and scroll by it. But I'll use that reel, and not just me, anybody, any of us that teachers that we do that stuff. And we'll make a whole class around one reel.
Right.
Because we see all that stuff. Like what we just read in the scriptures as the examples. Right? Go ahead, read.
But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith.
You build up yourself on your most holy faith. And the foundation of that is the laws. And that's why I say that first pillar is God. Your spiritual growth, your spiritual increase. Man shall not live by bread alone. He didn't say don't eat. He didn't say eating wasn't important. He said it's not bread alone. There's a spiritual component. So your first pillar is that. And you're 100% accountable for that. Your next pillar, and I'm going to go by the one of the most controllable, is your sleep hygiene. I say this over and over.
That is a big one.
Because there's not an excuse if you're in the right spirit to understand how to do that. You control that.
I was just about to say that.
You control that 100%.
100%.
And I'm not saying that you can get 10 hours every night.
That'd be nice.
I rarely do that, right?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
But your hygiene, meaning you have a within a range, you have a set sleep time, you have a set time to wake up, right? And even if you have some chaos in your life, then even more you have to be able to take accountability for that. Maybe you work a weird shift, whatever it is. Prioritize that stuff, right? Then the one I'm going to put after that is going to be exercise. I'm going to leave diet. I'm going to leave diet last because I know there's a relationship that's emotional when it comes to food. And that gets a little harder to do. But you start with God as your first pillar and foundation, your greatest one.
Right.
Then you move to the sleep hygiene, which you have the most control over, of your structure and how you handle that. Then we go to exercise because that's really a choice and just scheduling. Priorities.
Priorities.
Right? Priorities.
Keeping in health.
And then you move to the diet part. And that one's a little harder. I do know it's harder. I do. I know sometimes I oversimplify it and we talk about discipline and stuff. I know there's a relationship with food. What you've seen, what you hear, how we receive and process information. Like that's the crux of where I've gone off on this tangent, so to speak, with this. You got to bring that in and you got to bring that into control. And then you'll be able to realize how simple it really is to kind of have that under control. And what I'm really saying is I understand that it seems insurmountable to you. It seems problematic. You hear all that. But what's important to you, you do. If you're someone who drinks your one drink every night, you never miss that. So it's not really about, oh, that sounds like too much. It's just that it's not important enough to you.
Right.
You don't put enough priority on it to make it something that's gonna be life-changing for you. Right? And trust me, I'm not the extreme guy, man. I indulge in sweets. I have drinks. I eat what you would deem bad food sometimes, right? And I enjoy it a lot.
A lot. Right.
Okay. And I don't beat myself up over it because I know what I do most of the time. And I build myself up and I stay within my faith in the scriptures, that anything that I'm going to process and put forth, I'm going to make sure that I'm very careful that it doesn't contradict what the scriptures say.
Right.
And that brings me back to Timothy's. Read this.
6 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Right. I'm not going to let, and at this time, there was no social media, but what? Get that in Acts 17 real quick about the, start before the superstition, where he says they're always doting about something. Is it 21 or 20?
The book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 20. For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know, therefore, what these things mean. For all the Athenians,
and he's talking about the Israelites who were in Athens, because that's who he was preaching to. He wasn't preaching to the whole world. Go ahead, come on.
And strangers which were there spent.
And the strangers which were there spent, okay? Meaning the influence of the others, right? That's not strangers meaning Israelites, right? He's talking about the other nations, the heathen. Go ahead, come on.
Spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing.
He said they spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or hear some new thing. That's the same generation that's here today.
Yeah, and that's being magnified with social media.
With social media is magnified. You educate yourself on the internet. With yourself on the internet.
Right.
And you hear it, and because it was razzle-dazzled, it was done with good lighting, colors, presentation. Maybe the person had a soft on the eyes face.
Oh, shoot.
Maybe they had a good sounding voice. All those little triggers, like Barack Obama, when he speak, you know he's full of shit, but when he speak, he's an eloquent speaker.
He is with the voice too. He got the voice.
If you weren't rooted in something, you would believe that dude, right? Versus Trump, right? Like that's why I know all the people who freaking follow him are just
crazy,
nuts. But right, but I like that he's very straight to the point. I like a lot of what he says because
I do too.
I can see through the BS and I know what he's really getting at. But there's people who speak really well, and it says this is how the Athenians were. Somebody sounded like something was good. That's how it was in Athens was the physical internet.
Damn.
And everybody was musing and all that. Read that part again. Read that verse again.
For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else, but either to tell or to hear something new.
Right. He said they spent their time in nothing else, either to tell or hear something new. Scrolling away like we do, that same generation, right? And then you tell that. Because you saw it on the internet, right? Must be true. It was on the internet. Keep reading.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious.
Right. Now, beautiful. You got the definition. Superstitious. We went over this Monday night. Right. Your immediate thing with superstition is what? You think like don't walk under a ladder, you break a mirror, 7 years bad luck, right? Sisters, don't put your bag on the floor, right? Not because the bag's gonna get dirty. They got this whole little thing behind it, right? Right. All these little things, right? Like don't use your right hand, use your left for this, whatever it is, right? Even we got that. I be seeing brothers, come on, use
the left
your right.
Joint, the left hand
use your
joint.
right. What if I'm a lefty? If you really think about it, where'd that come from?
Oh no!
That
did just come out of nowhere.
And we bring that here because in the streets you'd be like pardon the left, right? Like if I had something in my right hand and I saluted you with my left, I give you the dap with the pardon the left.
Damn! Now you got to say something,
right? Shoot. I see it. Some of y'all with your sons, hey, give him the right hand.
Damn.
And I get it. Right hand means this. Right hand means that. Right. You won't say bless you, but you're gonna make sure the right hand is out.
Damn.
Don't go there. This is true.
That's bad.
Superstitions.
Right.
Superstitions, right? Superstitions. But superstitions is beyond that. Let's read the definition. Come on.
Excessively credulous belief in and reverence for supernatural beings.
Right? Excessively credulous. No, I want the second one.
A widely held but
So most of us think the first one,
right,
which is examples I gave now. But superstitions also goes into this. Read that.
a widely held but unjustified.
And that's what I'm attacking when I do these health segments, when I go over this stuff.
Right.
When somebody comes at us with their mumbo jumbo about that Northern Kingdom ain't the Northern Kingdom, who the Bible teaches that Northern Kingdom is, and that we teach because that's what the Bible says. When they come with their other BS, that's a superstition that they have. It's a widely held but unjustified belief. Go ahead, come on.
In supernatural causation,
come on,
leading to certain consequences.
Oh, you know what? You're giving me the wrong one. Give me dictionary. Yeah. You were on it, and then you weren't.
Right there, yep.
That's why I had to read more than one. This is the one. This
Number one is
this
fire.
encompasses it perfect. Go ahead, come on.
A belief or notion.
Hey, can you boot the distractors in the chat? I don't know who's moderating, all right? He got a PhD, but he's speaking like a nigga. Go ahead, come on.
A belief or notion.
And I don't believe that PhD. I could put PhD on my name, too. Go ahead, come on. I don't even know what the hell he's going on about. Get the hell out of here. Go ahead, come on.
A belief or notion, not based on reason or knowledge.
Superstition, a belief or notion not based on reason or knowledge. He said the Israelites that were in Athens and all the strangers with them, that's all they occupied themselves in every day.
The Virgin Mary.
The Virgin Mary, right? That's another one, right? All the other gods they had. But also, bringing it to today's time, the nonsense that y'all spew out.
Right.
All right? Go ahead, finish reading it.
Reason or knowledge in or of the ominous significance of a particular thing, circumstance, occurrence, proceeding, or the like.
So don't just think of superstition exclusively as those examples that we gave, the itching ears, the bag, and anything. It means anything that's not based on reason or knowledge, and you make it a belief. And we tend to be dogmatic in those things.
Right.
And all you want to do is muse on it. You want to hear it or talk about it, right? But it's not sound the way that we've brought out so far with the scriptures, right? Now, get me Timothy's.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter
and have the definition of science. You can use Google. All right, I think it looked good in the Google one. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. All right, and read Timothy's.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, and verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babbling.
Why? Because around that time, that was what the Romans and the Greeks were about. Profane and vain babbling, superstitions, right? Go ahead, come on.
And oppositions of science.
Oh, and here is where everybody falls off the boat. You take science, and you think scientists exclusively, right? And they weren't scientists like that back then. They had certain things and certain divisions of how they mused on things, right? But not like what you see today. You're conflating it, and you think that that's just talking about that. Goes back to that superstitions like we were reading about in Acts 17, right? That you just want to hear stuff. It means whatever the message is brought in, you went with it, right? If you keep reading on, I went over the new moon. They were even worshiping Christ, but they knew nothing about him. They were just worshiping because they heard what he did. They heard he rose from the dead, and they called him the unknown God.
So even in that regard, they were superstitious.
They were
That's
superstitious.
why Paul had to clear it out.
Paul had to clear it up for him. Paul had to clear it up for them, the superstition in Christ, right? Read this again, Timothy, from the top.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babbling.
Which is the superstitions. Go ahead, come on.
And oppositions of science, falsely so called.
And oppositions of science. Opposed. Something that opposes. Opposes what? This. If it opposes this. If it opposes this, then you can say it's false.
That's right.
It's not a catch-all that just because it's science, it's not false. That it's not correct. Right. That's when you can say it, right? That's when you can say it. Oppositions of science, falsely so-called. Let's look up the definition of science. Let's read the first one, because this is the one most people think of.
Science, the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, experimentation, and the testing of theories against the evidence obtained.
Right. That's what you think of when you think of science. You're thinking of the scientific process, right? Let's look at the archaic, which is what the Bible is talking about when you read science.
Knowledge of any kind.
Knowledge of any kind. So what it's saying is that if the knowledge that you're receiving is contrary to the scriptures, like your milk doctrine, all right, and the stuff I brought out on alcohol lines up with the scriptures because it talks about not being a drunkard,
right?
But you think drunkard is sloppy, messy,
right?
Drunk means excess, right? Let's look up the definition of drunk.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Let's get that.
Let me get that. Drunk, not drunkard, just drunk. Let me see before you put it up. Past participle of drink. Keep scrolling. Okay, you can read the second one, right? Because it's going to prove my point. Read that.
A person who is drunk or who habitually drinks to excess.
Habitually is the one drink a night.
Right.
Like where do you put your level, right?
Cap.
Where do you put your level, right? And then if we understand now that it's doing stuff to your body, you see it, the results are there, it's in your blood work, right? They're telling you now that it increases all this, that, and the same zeal you had to demonize sugar because it causes cancer. How come when it comes to your drink,
Damn.
Right.
There's pushback. Because there's nothing in the scripture that says don't eat sugar.
Yeah.
So do you see how we bias ourselves?
What was that cow? You used to call it a cow. What was the cow?
A sacred cow.
Sacred. It was.
That's what that because it comes from Hindu, Indian, Elam stuff.
Right.
They don't have beef in their cuisine. Because the cows to them are sacred. They believe you can be reincarnated.
Right,
they think like their cousin or their grandmother's a cow now.
Right.
Or a rat.
They don't want to be cannibals.
That's oversimplifying it, but that's basically what it is.
Right.
So they don't kill cows. Right? They don't kill cows. Sacred cows are things that you just hold on. Superstitions.
Right.
Superstitions.
Right.
So there's a lot of there's sugar alcohols even, right? So there's chemistry, which I hated because I hate all the little formulas and then they make you draw them. But it's supremely interesting. I mean, you got to imagine Solomon understood chemistry. Talks about the elements.
Right.
I understand it all.
Right. You think elements is just earth, wind, fire. What a group. I love their songs. But you think it's the real earth, wind, and fire, right? It's beyond that. Right. They talk about the elemental table, and they call them the known elements. And through history, they've added more, right? Meaning they acknowledge that there's things that they don't understand.
Right. Crazy.
But we know that Solomon knew all that because wisdom gave us all things, right? And we understand that stuff, right? That's the other thing. They symbolize strength, wealth, and motherly love. That's true, but they don't need an education on that. They're called sacred cows. That's just the point that I wanted to bring out as far as that. Anyway, so it goes back. I didn't see. I mean, this kind of still goes with the wisdom because.
Yeah,
but I got to do this. I got to do the second one. Oh, this goes to what I was saying about who you receive your information from, and it makes some sense, right? Go ahead. How long is the video?
About a minute.
We'll play just the parts that I need. Go ahead, come on.
I can't believe a prophet who's 400 pounds.
Not the baby back ribs.
No, I can't believe a prophet who's 400 pounds. It just doesn't work that way. Because if you're that overweight and you're trying to prophesy, when have you put away your plate to hear from God?
Not
I've never said that, but
Lord? Okay.
it's the truth, and it's an addiction that needs to be dealt with.
It's an addiction.
But even if you're gifted, like I don't know if I can trust your voice if you're always eating. If you're
stop. So he said, even if you're gifted, like even if it sounds like you know what you're talking about, there, it's hard.
That's a good point.
It's hard to look because why? Being beholden to the scriptures is discipline. It's really what it boils down to. You rule your spirit. Right? And if you can't show discipline in your drinking habits, in your eating habits, in whatever it is that looks like it's off in you, in your anger, right? You got angry prophets sometimes, man. They bring out the word strong, but they quit for any little thing. I'm talking about unreasonably so, because we all, anger's okay, right? It's all about processing it, winner, loser, right?
Right.
Then it discredits you to some extent. It discredits you to some extent. and that will only get you but so far, right? Like I think I've spoken about contemptible people before, right?
Right.
And we put up with contemptible people because either they provide something of value or their habits make them contemptible, but they're likable, right? Like you could have somebody who's like I talk about my cousin, who like he would kind of pacify people. Like he would come to camp. He would come to camp in chancletas and late, but he would bring you a sandwich.
It's a good sandwich.
All right. Yeah, and like it was a good sandwich.
What I eat.
So it was contemptible because you were always pissed at him that he was not following protocol properly, right? But then when he did come, he always had something to kind of, and you're like, damn, he's not so bad.
That's crazy.
Like, damn, but he's so hospitable, right? He's so because he had a great hospitality spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like he stay at your house, he'll cook for you, all that stuff. So sometimes you'll overlook certain things, or maybe they're not likable, but they bring something, tangible, right? They do something that's needful and they're on it and stuff like that, right? But that only carries you but so far.
Right.
That only carries you but so far, right? And contemptible means like hateful, like you start feeling animosity towards the individual, right? Because of that. But the reality is, and he's not alone in saying that, it makes you think twice about certain people.
Right.
Like if you can't see, like how can you take somebody seriously about discipline and changing your life and they don't look like they're disciplined in anything that they do?
That's like the Pharisees, the scribes and Pharisees.
Yeah.
Saying all this stuff, instructing all the people, but they themselves was not doing not one.
That's why Christ said, don't do like they do. He said, learn, right? Get that verse.
Yeah.
Get that verse. Right?
Matthew 23.
Right, yeah. You talk to them about eating beef and stuff like that, Elam, they get checked up. They get checked
Oh, man. Done do it. Verse 2 and 3.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 2. Saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Right, meaning he's telling you, look, they sit in the position, that goes with Malachi, where the priest's lips should keep knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You're going to seek the law at their mouth, right? Go ahead, come on, because we sought the law at Moses' mouth. Go ahead, come on.
All therefore, whatsoever they bid you, observe, that observe and do.
He says what they tell you to do, they're doing that right. When they give you the law of Moses, you keep that, right? Go ahead, come on.
But do not ye after their works.
Don't follow their example. And the works is what? See, how's he going to tell you what they teach you do for Christians, for dumb Christians that say the law is done away with, that he was getting on them because of the law of Moses, and that's not what it was, right? Because in Matthew 5, he says, except your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. And he's expounding upon it here because he tells you what? Read that part again.
All therefore, whatsoever they bid you, observe, that observe and do.
Right, what they teach you, that observe and do. Go ahead, come on.
But do not ye after their works.
But do not after their works, their behavior and how you see that they move and the spirit that they're in, right? And is there more on that?
For they say and do not.
For they say and do not, right? So you have people who say, do as I say, not as I do.
Damn.
And that's not what people do.
Yes.
That's not what people do.
Hey, Deacon, can I pull this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and read verse 4. So this is Paul, and he's going to re-emphasize what Christ was saying. Watch this.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 4. And my speech and my preaching was not with the enticing words of man's wisdom.
Right, and just even tying it back to what we've been talking about, where a man may come up with a certain countenance, he may have the video done a certain way, but at the end of the day, that's man's wisdom, especially if it's not backed up by any proper science, right? Because science is good if it's backed up properly. So he says, listen, my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. Watch this.
But in demonstration.
Demonstration, that's action. But in demonstration of what?
Of the Spirit.
Of the Spirit of Christ.
And of power.
Power is action. He showed forth how powerful the Lord was in his words by demonstrating it physically. That's why he says in verse 5.
Verse 5, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men.
I demonstrated the Spirit and I demonstrated the power of the Lord so that your faith doesn't come from the wisdom of man or you perceive it to be just based off that, but in what?
But in the power of God.
But in the power of God. So as long as you can back it up with the scriptures and then you preach it, somebody can perceive and say, okay, this man does preaches and
right.
does.
And going back to that demonstration, you read other parts in the scriptures where he talks about, listen, we didn't want to be a burden to anybody, so we worked. We didn't have to.
Oh, yes.
The church should have supported us while
That's
we were
heavy.
out there preaching with you. We shouldn't have to go somewhere and
Yes.
spend 3 months and get a job, but we did it so that we wouldn't be a burden
Yes,
to you and to
yes.
give you an example,
Right.
right? That we're not here to just be charlatans to do that sort of stuff, right?
Mhm.
But though there's no sin in it, right? He talks about those type of examples multiple times in the
Didn't even think
scriptures
about that.
in that demonstration as well, right?
Mhm.
So you have to write in word and performance, in word and deed,
Mm.
in word and in deed, meaning in the acts that you do. You were gonna say something, or you just twiddling the mic?
No, I'm gonna jump in when I can.
Oh, okay,
You know,
all right.
I got some stuff. Though,
Okay,
but-
all right,
Yo, I didn't even think about that. You're right, because they had power to get resources from the people.
Yeah.
But it said, look, this is what we gonna do. We're not gonna do that. Just to be an example.
Yes.
Because we good. We got the Ephesians hooking us up and all that.
Right.
The Corinthians was bugging.
Yeah.
but that's a good point.
Right.
D.
No, and then there's other times where he has to blast because he says, "Look, I had to rob churches to provide.
yeah.
You didn't provide, right?
Yeah, you in the spirit.
Letting you know, giving you that example,
Yeah, you in
right?
the
So
spirit.
you know, you got to look at those things and you see how that stuff was structured. It's all about coming together. We talk about community. We talk about living on land together, and I don't want to live with a lot of you yet. Yet, I say that yet. That's the reality. If you cannot elevate to the level of what the scriptures tell us we got to be, I'm not even talking about the kingdom. I'm just talking about how Acts 2, Acts 4, the spirit they had, where they had all things common. If you ain't got that spirit sincerely, I don't try to get me in a community with you. I'm not going to do it. That community is going to burn.
Damn,
it's facts.
It's going to be terrible. Right? I'm not. The same way I won't get into business with anybody. I've been in business with Israel before. It's not good. Try to give Israelites jobs. They destroyed my business.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Bishop tells a story sometimes. And they destroyed my damn business.
Damn.
It's hard to recover. It was hard to recover.
But niggas, I mean niggas.
That's right. That's right. Let me get the other video on the health piece. All right? Go ahead. Come on.
That sister.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the Asian chick. Uh-huh.
Damn.
The Asian looking one. I don't know what she is, but.
I hate to break it to you, but you do not need to eat carbs. I haven't eaten a single carb piece of fruit or vegetable in 6 years, and I'm not dying of low energy, nor have I wrecked my hormones. I've actually lost 25 pounds, now have painless periods, unbelievably stable energy and mood because my body burns fat for fuel now. So who else has ditched the carbs?
So who else has ditched the carbs? Yeah, not her either. I'm school. So she's claiming she hasn't had a single carb in 6 years and feels fantastic. And she's had all of these amazing improvements in her symptoms. But literally just a few videos prior to this, she has several videos of her consuming dairy.
Dairy on a carnivore diet. Oh, so many opinions about it. I initially couldn't have any dairy besides butter because I was lactose intolerant. A couple years of carnivore fixed it completely. I now have raw kefir and butter every single day with no issues. Am I concerned about the carb count? Not.
So in one video, she's telling you she hasn't had a single carb in 6 years. Then in another video just a couple months before that, she's telling you she consumes carbs every single day. The only reasonable conclusion here is that she's lying to her audience about her diet. And this page has 400,000 followers, and she's able to just flip-flop with what she tells you, and lots of people are just lapping it up. Like, what on earth is going on? This is why I keep reminding people that personal anecdotes are not scientific evidence. Because they can simply just be made up, and the individual has no idea whether a specific intervention led to a specific outcome. So if you want to know what foods and dietary patterns are healthy over the long term, then you have to look at the research data. Not follow people who can literally tell you anything you want to hear. Glasses miss.
Right. That's like the brothers who are on the fitness program, and we have the fat standards, right? Or the health standards, to say it nicely, right? And these brothers are not making the movement in weight that they probably should.
Right.
That they probably should.
When I eat, it's hard for me to stop.
And they're telling you that they're doing good, and they're telling you that they've been on point, but their results show otherwise.
Right.
And we do the weigh-ins, and we have the accountability. That's why some of them won't post their weigh-ins because they know they didn't make. And I'm not talking about, listen, you can have an off week. Sometimes it goes up. Sometimes it goes down. Like I said, sometimes it stays the same. But week after week, like what happened when we started? Everybody was posting.
Right.
And you notice all the fat, undisciplined ones
faded to black
that secretly eat.
Right.
And that's why I tell them, you come to the feast, and then you don't prepare yourself to account to be able to have the feast food, right, in moderation.
Right.
because you earlier that day you was eating cake or cookies or fried food standing in your kitchen at 2 a.m. the night before.
Had to feast early, huh?
Right? You was binging or whatever, and then you want to sit here like you making progress.
I can't have the cheesecake.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Crazy work.
I'm telling you, no. And then I remember, I don't know if I said it on the show. I gave the example. We did the TJ Blitz. And, you know, I've lost a lot of weight lately. I went a few months where it kind of was just maintaining. And, you know, I think it's going on 2 years, so I've been keeping it off, too, even. Like, I know people may have just recently noticed it, like late last year or whatever, but I was making steady progress the whole time, right? I just did it kind of slow and steady so that I don't rebound, right? I can maintain it. And I remember we went to TJ, so we went to eat, you know, and I didn't eat. I might have had some mixed nuts during the day. I didn't eat breakfast. I had mixed nuts and a coffee, right, for the Blitz. And that's typically what I do when I travel. That's how I kind of regulate and still be able to enjoy. And we went to dinner. And we went to this like Brazilian steakhouse. Yeah, I know it was Mexico, but it was a Brazilian steakhouse. So they had like their own little flair to it, right?
Right.
Like Tex Brazil, right? You call it, right? They have Tejas de Brazil. But anyway, you know, and it wasn't even that crazy. But I was trying foods that, you know, most people wouldn't eat. They had a little pizza, a couple slices. You know, I was bringing a few things over, you know. I bought some desserts over to take, and they were kind of trash, so I only took like a bite of a couple of them or whatever. But I'm able to do that. I'm able to have that food in front of me and not binge. But I couldn't when I first started. Like, I would mess up, right? But I remember Bishop Kanai looking at me, and he was like, jokingly, he was like, man, I hate you. You know, like, he doesn't hate me. Like, Bishop Kanai and I get along really well. And I told him, I said, hey, I said, you see me like this because I don't eat like this. I said, I eat like this all week. I said, I haven't eaten like this for like 2 weeks probably. But since we're here and I like the Brazilian steakhouse format, I said, I'm indulging. I said, and trust me, I won't be able to finish all this.
Right.
I said, my body won't let me at this point be able to do that. Right. But my point was, right, and guess what? I had a drink. I had like a mango mojito that was good and everything, you know. So it's not that I'm averse to it, but I understand that, right, the scripture tells you a little is sufficient for a man well-nourished. And I focus on trying to be well-nourished so that I can go ahead and when there's times of feasting and mirth or, right, and that's the thing. We got the victory for the Lord. We did the TJ Blitz. I don't want to be there like that. You know what I'm saying? So even just the other night for New Moon, I said, hey, just give me what do we had a typical Judah menu, right? We had mac and cheese, barbecue wings, greens and cornbread, right? And peach cobbler. Yeah. I ate 3 wings and some greens. I didn't do I wanted peach cobbler so bad, and I love cornbread.
The cobbler,
I love cornbread. I didn't eat it. Right. And the brother's like, damn, that's discipline. And I'm like, you know what? It's not even a discipline thing for me right now. I actually don't. Like, I know I like it, but my body really wasn't craving it. Right? Like, I just wasn't.
Good.
Yeah,
a lot of people
don't
understand the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They see the front.
Yeah.
They don't understand what the
Plus, I like
put
talking shit to them when they don't eat right. So if I do it, they might, you know.
Yeah. You don't want to be like a Pharisee.
Well, it's kind of like Eliezer, where he didn't want to eat.
Yeah.
Even though it was like faking it, eating the food because
it's the example.
He said others might think, and I didn't want to do that. And then brothers, you know, have it in their head that like, you know, that's okay.
It's okay to do
like
it.
I know I could do it, and I'll be all right. Right? Like I know I can. I could have ate that whole plate, and I'd have been fine. Right? It wouldn't have derailed me. It wouldn't have messed me up because I understand nutrition. I understand one meal is not gonna, you know,
that's a good discernment.
Right? But at the same time, you know, I got 3 of my top guys that are still not in the green.
Big.
Right.
And if you listen and you fat bastard, hurry up and get green, bruh. I mean, I went in on them the other day. I told them, because you know why? You know when you're heavier,
you can lose a lot.
You can lose more aggressively.
Yeah.
I fight to lose 2 pounds a week at this point.
Yeah, the first
they can lose 5 to 10 a week easy, on higher calories than I could eat.
Yeah, you
so I'll be tight.
You gotta go
I'll be tight, and then we got the Whoop group together. So I see how some of the fat bodies, bro. I'll go to the gym, do my weight training. Y'all see the strain that I get on my weight training. I'll do my cardio, right? I'll have a real full day, 20,000 steps that day or whatever it is, and maybe I burnt 1,800 calories that day.
Damn.
And it's not about a slow metabolism or whatever. When you're lighter and you're leaner, it's harder to move the scale. And I know for a fact, there's one chubby brother. He sits down all day to work, and that's fine. That's fine. And he burns at least half or double of what I burned doing all that. He didn't even work out that day. Damn.
So it takes a lot of energy
because it takes a lot of energy because you have more mass on you.
Right.
So just living and breathing takes more because you're heavier and you're bigger.
Walking to the bathroom.
Right.
burning
So
calories.
short people problems, it just ain't even in that. Like, we don't even burn calories the same way, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, and then he come to the feast and like, yeah, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to. Freaking eat your feast food. Stop. What kind of BS is this?
He makes up for it when he gets home, that's why.
Man, come on. Hey, that's what they call it. And, Lady Beth, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get into the food wars, but that's what Judah wanted as the tip. We said let's do a typical Judah menu, and that's what Judah be coming up with.
Hey, man, it was good, too.
Yay or nay? And everybody was excited about it.
It was good.
Right.
Judah.
Everybody was excited about it. Typical Judah menu, right? Look, I'm obviously at a more advanced training state. The question was because you have a lot of muscle memory. Yes, muscle memory is a real thing. My muscle mass is pretty high. I'm not bodybuilder big, but like there's a calculator called the fat-free muscle. It's basically the opposite of BMI, where BMI emphasizes your body mass index, and it doesn't take into account fat-free mass. There's a calculator called the fat-free mass calculator, and it gives you a range for people who actually have good muscle on their frame. And you have to know your body fat percentage to put that in. And I am on the upper limit, right? Like, and they use that incidentally to let you know if somebody's on steroids or not. Because if you're past a certain range, the likelihood of you being enhanced,
right?
So, and it don't mean you got to look like the guys on stage, but this thing has proven pretty accurately who has admitted that they've taken drugs and shown that they're taking drugs. So I'm up there, but not to that extreme. Like it basically it takes into account the potential as a natural, what they say, to put that mass. So while I may not have 20-inch arms and stuff like that, my leanness is pretty good. So yes, to some extent that has something to do with that, but I'm careful with those questions because then the presumption is, right, these brothers, some of them, though they're heavier than me and though their body fat percentage is me, because of the extra weight they have on them, they actually have more muscle mass on their frame pound-wise than I do.
Right.
Even though it doesn't look like it.
Hey,
That's a good point.
But the muscle memory, can I just say this real quick? Hey, can y'all type muscle memory real quick? Because muscle memory, you got to actually work for muscle memory. So watch this.
Your fat-free body weight.
Go to the AI.
No, so the fat-free
Just type
mass,
in
that's a
muscle
separate
memory,
calculator.
It should just pop up.
Yeah.
Like go on Google, just put muscle memory, the AI overview. Perfect. Read that.
Muscle memory is the ability of muscles to perform specific tasks more efficiently after repeated practice.
After what?
Repeated practice.
Practice, exercise. You repeatedly have to have a regimen program and be consistent at it to build muscle memory. It doesn't just come. So to get that muscle memory, to burn that fat, to get to lower the fat rate percentage, you have to exercise. You have to do it repeatedly, and you have to do it consistently.
Yeah. So I just did the FFMI calculator. Let's put it up because we're talking about it. This still goes with the topic, and I'm still going to get to my other verses that I wanted to go into. Qualifying the title about the instruction of a father. Go to ffmicalculator.org. And I'll put my metrics in, and then we could try somebody else's. Put 5'4". Yes, I'm 5'4" inches.
Me too.
I was 161 this morning when I weighed, and I'm not gonna go by what my body fat scale is. I did a DEXA scan, and I know that it's low. So the scale tells me I'm 16.1% body fat. That's not true. I'm not 16.1. I did a DEXA, put 18.
Oh, it was actually higher?
Yes. And then you see the index down there. So, yes, my fat-free mass is considered superior. but I'm not suspicious. Right? Meaning
Oh,
you
for
might,
fra-
you,
for
might
steroids.
you might be taking steroids.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay. That's neat.
and then unlikely is like you're unlikely a natural. Like you definitely
Oh, you shooting?
you're definitely taking drugs, right? Okay. So you want to try you?
Yeah. You could put put 153
5
for pounds.
5'3". No, 5'1".
You gotta do that to me?
Now
Wow.
what are you? 5'2"?
That's two.
No, I'm 5. No, I'm
Two.
5 foot
2.5.
4.
You're not
Don't do that.
5'4".
All right, I'm 5
Asher.
foot 3.5. 5 foot. Seriously.
You're
5
not
foot
even
3.
3.5.
Nah, he's 2.5.
And there's no
Hey.
half. 5'3". He's 5 foot.
He gave you the half
4'10". Damn, y'all are terrible. Benson, what's
No
up?
respect.
Benson, what's up?
Oh, so Asher, you a good 5'2", 5'3".
That's
bro.
what I'm saying, bro.
I've measured.
I say-
I've been to the doctor. I'm 5 foot 3
I
and a
say
half.
he's closer to 5'2",
With your shoes on.
but I'll give him 5'3" because of the hair.
That works.
But
I
we
am
can do
not
that.
5'2", but anyways, 153. Jesus. 20. 20.1.
You're not 20.1.
Yeah,
That's what he is on there, but it's probably higher. Like this, these scales, they're giving you a lower number than what you really are.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, his is excellent, right? So, and you could tell he has a certain look to him, right? He looks all right. His is excellent, but I'm superior.
Get up. 5'11".
Are you 5'11"?
No, 5'10". Sorry.
Okay, yeah. See,
Thanks for reminding me.
It's
That's
superstitious.
great.
Hey, everybody trying to take an inch right now. What's going on?
I'm trying to put an
Y'all
inch
done
on.
took. Y'all done took 2 inches from me. That's
180,
crazy.
189, 21.
above average, almost excellent. Above average,
Got
almost
some work to
excellent.
do.
That's
Got some
good.
work to do.
That's
In
good.
there.
That's good. You want to do yours,
Yeah, I
Tobias?
do. I'm excited.
He's excited. Let's see.
I'm
Let's
curious.
see.
I'm curious.
Let's see.
Do 6'2".
So they're trying to push this for people who actually work out. To your point that you were making while I was looking this up, because BMI doesn't, like, my BMI says that I'm on a healthy BMI, but my fat-free mass tells me that I'm good. Right?
Gotcha.
I'm good. So
The last one was 208. And then, was it 20.8? So 21?
21, rounded up. 20, damn, 28, 21. All right, you're on the border of above average. You're in the above average realm.
I got work to do.
You're in the above average realm. Yeah.
You're
But
not-
here's the thing. Let me tell you something. I'm very near my potential. Meaning, I don't know how much pounds I have, but like I would have to lose a lot more body fat to try to get a lot bigger. So it kind of self-regulates itself.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm not going to be able to get too big on my frame because I'm bordering on
Naturally.
yeah, because I'm bordering on that
higher
real.
end.
You
Yeah.
could go unlikely.
So, and that's because I have a lot of year again. So, you see these people on social media with certain types of physiques, and they don't necessarily have to be like the Olympians. There's different weight classes for these bodybuilding things. A lot of the fitness models are on drugs.
Right.
They're on a lot of various type of drugs, and it sets, again, unrealistic expectations of what the body can really achieve. Right? And genetics plays a big role into that too. Like, and I mean, as a people, our genetics in general are superior. So there's a
Right.
lot that you could tap
Bring it out.
into. But I would like to push mine up more. Who's that? Whose numbers is that? 2%. Damn. 5'9", 2%. Jeez.
Miho was putting his in.
Who? Miho? He's 5'9".
Miho?
Miho's
He ain't
He's
5'9".
not 5'9".
He's not.
Miho,
He's
why
like
are you lying?
5'7". See, that's what I'm saying. They're not getting right with
Mexican BS.
It's I was going to say, it's an Issachar thing, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out who put that 4'10"
he
too.
ain't no 5'9".
What's up, fool? What's up, fool?
He's barely above average
Come on now.
on muscle mass. Anyway, that's a pretty interesting calculator if you want to look at that versus the BMI as far as health goes.
It
all
was
right?
FF what?
FFMIcalculator.org. All right. And then it gives you like a little explanation at the bottom, right? And it tells you that, like, you can scroll down and it talks about the FFMI score for men, right? And I think they have me as bodybuilder, powerlifter, weightlifter range. Because I was like, 20,
Bodybuilder,
I was between like 24, 25, I think. And there's
I'm
female
advanced
scores
gym
too.
user.
There's female scores too. Right. Right.
Fat woman. Athlete.
Yeah, meaning somebody who's
Advanced
active.
Gym user. Hey,
Right.
that's kind of accurate.
Yeah, so they go into that and they kind of tell you like
Somebody highlighted fat woman. Somebody back there trolling.
Yes. I don't want the sisters to be. Do it on your own, sisters, so that you don't. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the. I'm gonna put the link in the feed. The sisters are gonna cry if it says fat woman. They're gonna be. If your FFMI is 15 to 18, you're a fat woman. If y'all want to look into that, all right?
The wording.
Stop with the social media stuff, y'all.
Right.
Stop with the social media stuff, all right? Hey, let's get Proverbs 4, and let's start at 1. I'm going to go into some of this.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father.
Which brings me to my point, all right? We're talking about the instruction of fathers, all right? Whenever you go into any of these books that they call like wisdom or proverbs or things like that, all right? It's going into instructions of a father, right? Like when you really think about it, like the intro in Sirach, right? Let's get that, okay? The prologue. Let's just read the whole prologue. Well, read what the title is, right?
The wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus.
Right. So this is the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, and it's not Jesus the Christ, right? It's like Joshua, all right? Hosea, Joshua, Hosea. The wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, right? Let's read this prologue. Come on.
A prologue made by an uncertain author. This Jesus was the son of Sirach, and grandchild to Jesus of the same name with him. This man therefore lived in the latter times, after the people had been led away captive, and called home again, and almost after all the prophets.
Right. So again, I'm trying to validate to you how we have to use that scripture. This goes back to the opposition of science earlier and all of that. It has to oppose what we have here. And a lot of the nonsense that the stuff that y'all be saying opposes what the scriptures say. It opposes what the scriptures say, right? Go ahead, come on.
Now his grandfather Jesus, as he himself witnessed.
So he's telling you that it comes from the fathers. His grandfather was the example, and Sirach's father. Sirach was the son of the grandfather, and Jesus was. Had Sirach as the example, and he's showing you the knowledge of the fathers. That's what you find in the scriptures. A lot of times we think of all knowledge and we just think of prophecy. We just think of the law, and those things are very front and center because you can't get to the rest of this. This really has no power because you've not built the discipline of refraining from your appetites by repenting and keeping the laws. We were having a discussion on Romans. Ashaya had a question about Romans 2, and I went to different parts in 5, 6, and 7 to kind of help him explain that about that thing that we have inside of us that tries to pull us away from stuff. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, and I know I'm over summarizing it, but we were talking about that in the moon after class, because what that really teaches you is that how important that foundation is to be a repenting brother or sister. This goes back to the video about you can't trust a 400-pound pastor.
Yeah.
It is very difficult for any of this wisdom that we find in the Bible, the intricate wisdoms, that might not be a clear law that says don't eat this, don't dress like that.
Right.
But addresses the bigger life concerns on how you should manage decisions in day-to-day life. And I don't mean they're bigger than keeping the commandments. There's nothing bigger than that. I'm actually trying to explain that without that discipline that's built in refraining yourself from your appetites by maintaining a firm level of repentance in this walk, the rest of the things to improve yourself don't last if you can even touch them. I'll give you a very oversimplified example. We knew a brother who was in great shape, right? Real muscular and everything like that. Everybody knows him. I don't know if his fat-free mass indicator would have,
Superstitious.
Suspicious. Anyway, the brother was good at applying those things, but then it's revealed. I mean, he had, and I'm not going to put it out there, but he had some real lascivious, evil concupiscence stuff going on with himself. Real stuff that he had not conquered, right? And what I'm trying to say is that just because somebody might have a certain look and they look like they got it together, that's not the end all be all of where you're at.
Right.
So I'm trying to put the emphasis that on it starts with the repenting, and if you can do that, then the rest is easier and it will stay. It will stay with you, and it becomes more logical to make sense. I'll give the fasting example that I've often given. Why is it that when it's a fast that you can do it, but when it's your diet, you binge? So whatever it is, right, you do it because you fear the Lord.
Right.
And you're not going to break the fast because those of you do fast. A lot of you don't fast on the bi-monthly fast.
This is true.
Or you'll make excuses, or you rarely do it. You seldom do it. Right? But the fasting, we were talking about that last night too. Fasting, what the role of fasting really does for you, the Bible says afflict your soul.
Right.
I think we forget that part and we treat it as a diet when we fast. It says afflict your soul. Is not eating an affliction to your soul? Is that the affliction of the soul?
Not necessarily.
No, it's not.
It's you can't indulge in what you desire.
You are practicing restraint from something that is a very base urge.
Right.
You don't control the hunger cues. That's one of the things you're born with.
Right.
You wake up and you want to suck on some nip. Why? Not because you want nip. You're hungry. And the only thing that soothes it is giving it what it needs, because the baby needs nourishment because it's not getting it from the womb anymore, right? One of the first things, urges primally, right? You want to say primally, that you come out with carnally is hunger. Hunger is not a choice, which is why I say I know it's hard. Remember, I left that last in my pillars. I know it's hard because hunger is not a choice. You can't choose not to be hungry.
Right.
It's something you feel.
Right.
And for some of us who have not built ourselves up to restrain that appetite, this is what makes the dieting so hard. Especially for those who are real obese. And that's why it's all connected. You can't believe in somebody
Right.
who is extremely out of shape. I'm not saying you got to be super muscular, but at least have a reasonable weight. Like, it's hard to take somebody like that serious. And I can say that having let myself go and been on the other side of that. I might not have been like some of the chubs we got now, but I always looked, what did I say Monday? I said, I always look strong, but I also look like I wouldn't say no to a cookie either. You know what I'm saying?
You had the dad bod. You had the officer shotgun.
No. I have more muscle than him. I've never had less muscle than
He said, hell no.
No. I always had the broad shoulders and looking thick, and I stayed strong. But
said, hell
but but you could tell with my stomach that I didn't.
Some Oreos.
I didn't. Some. I've done lines of Oreos.
Right.
With milk. You know what I'm saying? You could tell those sort of things.
Right.
So the afflicting of your soul goes deeper. It's letting you know that if you can refrain from something that you have an urge that you think you have no control over. And it's interesting. It's such a strong parallel to sin, because don't beat yourself up because you feel the urge of the sin. Beat yourself up when you give into it.
Right.
That's a good point.
And it's the same thing with the hunger. And that's really the power of the fasting and what it builds you to.
Damn, that's that Romans 7
Yes.
that you was going over yesterday.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
I like it. That's heavy.
See,
That's heavy.
and I love when you guys come with questions, because it opens up things for me to maybe
In the
class topics and things like that for me to talk about. So while a lot of people just shoo the fasting, remember, he calls it afflicting your soul, and we forget that part. And the afflicting your soul is that you're hungry and thirsty. And it's not even hunger, it's thirst too. Which is stronger than the hunger sometimes.
Facts.
Right? They say you can go longer without food than you can without water.
Right.
Right? 3 days, you start having issues in your body without water. I know people have fasted long, week, 2 weeks, some people, but there's some damage going on in your body.
Yeah.
Right? And you gotta rapidly recover from it. Right? But that's really the power of what's there. If you can refrain that appetite so easily, how come you can't carry that over to a daily regimen where it's not even that extreme? We're just talking about bringing your calories down, following the things that what we've brought out on the show, and build that up. And I get it. I understand that the urges are strong and they're hard. Even on this diet, sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm about to lose, so it's time to go to bed. Like I'll just go to sleep because I'm like, I'm out of calories, I'm out of macros. If I'm not drinking like a seltzer water and it's too late to have caffeine to kill the urge, right? Like a black coffee or something like that. It's time to go to sleep. I'm just gonna have to
sleep
because I don't wake up as hungry. It takes a while for me to wake up hungry. So like your body, everything kind of sets down. But that's the strength in the fasting, right? It makes you better at things. So the foundation is the scriptures, right? The repentance. And then there's other things in there. So a lot of us will read something in here and we want to apply it, but we haven't conquered everything else, right? And then you wonder why you struggle. So I know it comes off in simplicity when we say just discipline and people get frustrated. Like you brothers and sisters that have struggled with things and struggled with goals, you get frustrated when you hear discipline. Well, I'm giving you a little insight into where discipline begins. And guess what? If you are one of those that you don't miss any of the bi-monthly fasts, right, and you're able to handle that, carry that same energy to your diet. Deacon Joshua the Cookie Monster, hell yeah!
Yeah, I saw that.
especially with some milk.
Oh man,
you know, or a cafecito, depending on what I'm having. Hell to the yeah. And my wife could bake too. I be sending her baking stuff, and I'm like, she's like, you want me to make it? Not yet. I can have more calories this day. I can have more.
So what cookie do you go to then?
Oreos is pretty.
Damn, the Oreos.
Yeah.
You can't beat an Oreo.
You cannot beat an Oreo.
And the golden too. I even like the golden one. Yeah.
I like the OG.
I like
black
the golden.
and white.
No, the black and white and the golden. It used to be Vienna fingers when I was a kid. Them things are sugar bombs. The Keebler Vienna fingers.
Yeah, I remember those sausages.
Bro, and you dip those in the or the fudge grams. The chocolate covered graham cookies.
Ones? Yes.
What, bro?
This is a green conversation.
So now they got the Oreo thins,
right?
And I'll mess with those in moderation, but you could do a line on them joints too, bro.
Yeah, man.
And forget the double stuff; it's a wrap.
Girl Scout cookies.
Oh my God, the double stuff.
And as far as salty, puff cheese doodles.
I haven't heard
or like puff Cheetos, the puff ones.
Yeah,
my gosh.
Oh yeah, those are fire.
I can't stop.
Can't do it. It's like
Well, I can't stop. I don't even eat them. I can't stop. I cannot stop. I cannot stop. Those will get me. Those will get me. Yeah, like I'm not into like fried foods and stuff. I mean, I like them, but that's not like my thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I like a good French fry and you know, but pizza, which doesn't have to be bad. I'll put pizza when I diet, like the homemade stuff.
Yeah, the homemade.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to the next
time. Yeah. Lord's will. I'm getting the itch. I like messing with the dough. I like the whole process. It's good. But anyway, let's get back to this. But see, I am starting to get a little hungry.
I came in.
You see how we went. You see how we went. I made a profound point. And
look, the puffs.
And then you asked me about the cookie.
Hey, those are fire. The flaming hot ones.
Nah.
I know you didn't like those, but
are the wrong ones.
For the Mexicans.
No. My all-time favorite are the cheese doodles, the Wise cheese doodles.
It's the circle one.
But
right?
Cheetos is popular. No. They look just like puffs, but Cheetos done took them over. Yeah, that was what Cheetos wasn't a thing when I came up.
Gas station.
Oh, yeah, the bodega or the Chino spot. That's where we got them. Yeah.
I've never even heard of that in my life.
Nah. And I think those hit more than the puffs.
Ooh.
Like if there was a chance for me to resist, I could resist the Cheetos puffs, but the Wise cheese doodles, it's a wrap. And we had Bravos back in the day, not Doritos.
I don't know what that is.
Bravo. So you know how like Doritos nacho cheese?
Right.
We had Bravos. They were round, circle.
Oh, I know you're talking
and they were nacho cheese,
Yeah.
and so we ate those, which I think you got more chip. I think a triangle gyps you. I think there's more surface area on a circle.
I can see that. Yeah.
So that's why they changed it.
But they filled it. The whole bag is air now anyway. So
so the Bravos are triangles now. But if you do like Bravos from the 80s, or I don't know, throwback Bravos, you'll see they were round and you got more chip.
I haven't ever seen that bag.
Right. You got more chip.
Crazy.
Yeah. Or just put round, Bravo rounds.
Right there.
Oh wow, they brought them back. Yeah, but they're not the nacho cheese ones though. Yeah. But those are not those are like the new bags. I guess they bring them back. Look, there was one over there with green and white.
Hey, somebody get these some Bravos, man.
Oh,
What if you can't buy
salsa
it?
verde. Damn. You know what comes round still? The tostito salsa verde. Damn,
This
those are
is
another
true.
ones.
Yeah,
Those
the
are,
Tostitos is where
those
it
kill
is.
me too. Anyway, stop, man. Y'all messing me up.
How do we even get here? Oh, those are good.
Can we get back to Ciroc? Stop it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop putting it up, IT. The hell's wrong with y'all? See? The devil.
The devil.
We didn't even finish
You
half.
see, you see how strong the food is?
Right.
See how strong the food is?
Yeah.
Look, I know, and it's almost time for us to end the show, unless I plus it. But come on, let's go back. Where we were in Ciroc. Now his grandfather Jesus. Come on. See, now everybody lost it. I'm making profound points for people, and you asked me what's my favorite cookie.
It started with the Cookie Monster joint.
That's because you were hungry too. I didn't see it in the spirit.
I'm hungry.
Go ahead. Come on.
And called home again, and almost after all the prophets. Now his grandfather Jesus, as he himself witnesseth, was a man of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews.
Diligence, you can say discipline, you can say demonstration, you can say example, right? He was a man of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews. Like we read in Sirach about the wise and eloquent teachers, right? Meat for the people. Go ahead, come on.
Who did not only gather the grave and short sentences of wise men.
Not just the grave and short sentences of wise men. Come on.
That had been before him. But himself also uttered some of his own.
Because as he built himself up in these things, he was able to build himself up in his most holy faith. He had the opportunity of leisure, like we discussed, to be able to increase his understanding, and he showed it forth in application so that even he had his own wise sayings to bring forth. Go ahead, come on.
Full of much understanding and wisdom.
And how do you know that? Because it wasn't just that he was in words, it was in deed as well, and in demonstration. Go ahead, come on.
When, as therefore, the first Jesus died.
So when the first Jesus died, meaning this one, it's not talking about Christ, it's talking about this Jesus. Go ahead, come on.
Leaving this book almost perfected.
It's talking about the book of Sirach, leaving this book almost perfected, because he came up with his own wise sayings. But where did he get all these? We read a lot of these health ones here in Sirach and not anywhere else. Damn. He didn't pull them from air. He was able to build upon his understanding in the other scriptures that the law saw fit through him, his son, and his grandson to finish what we call the book of Sirach. Go ahead, come on.
Sirach, his son, receiving it after him, left it to his own son Jesus.
And that's what you do. That's the wisdom of a father. And you can't just do it in words. And that's why I said what I said earlier. Your daddy might have been around, but he wasn't giving you wisdom.
That's facts.
He was not giving you wisdom. And I'm not saying you still can't. You could turn a bad situation into a good one. You could learn what not to do. You could say, well, damn, my pops abandoned me. I ain't going to do that.
Right.
Because I saw how it affected my family.
Facts.
Damn, my pops was never present. He went to work, came home, drank 2 beers, rubbed the back of the hair off his head as he sat on the couch and went to sleep.
Right.
I ain't going to do that because I saw how it affected me and my family. So you can still learn if you're in that, but you didn't learn anything directly good from him.
Right.
That's why I started with what I started dealing about the children piping in the marketplace. There's a generation of wisdom, there's a generation of righteous, and there's a generation of unrighteous. And we will never know who we are unless we explore that in our diligence, in our discipline, and then endure. You die in this walk. And you can die and say, I finished my course. Go ahead, come on.
Who, having gotten it into his hands, compiled it all orderly into one volume.
He compiled it all orderly into one volume. Come on.
And called it wisdom.
And called it wisdom. And called it wisdom. And you can say that about the whole scriptures from beginning to end. Go ahead, come on.
Intituling it both by his own name, his father's name, and his grandfather's, alluring the hearer by the very name of wisdom.
And alluring the hearer by the very name of wisdom. Go ahead, come on.
To have a greater love to the study of this book.
Right, to have a greater love for the study of this book, because there's some very nuanced things in the book of Sirach, just like there is in Proverbs, just like there is in Psalms, and there's also some heavy stuff that's in there as well. That through exercise of use, through opportunity of leisure, you can hone yourself to look into. Go ahead, come on.
It containeth therefore wise sayings, dark sentences and parables, and certain particular ancient godly stories of men that pleased God.
Right? Of men that had ancient, and he incorporated, it containeth therefore wise sayings, like I was just saying. It also has dark sentences. It has parables and certain particular ancient godly stories of men that please God. You read that quite a bit towards the last few chapters, right? Go ahead, come on.
Also his prayer and song. Moreover, what benefits God had vouchsafed his people.
And what benefits God had vouchsafed his people. Meaning, you say, what benefit does the child give to the father? But it benefits God. Why? Because we do what he wants us to do when we live by these sayings and we do these things. Go ahead, come on.
And what plagues he had heaped upon their enemies. This Jesus did imitate Solomon.
Interesting.
This goes, and this was connections that I couldn't make. I had to stop writing because it would have been too much. That goes into the Godhead. It goes to the instruction. It goes into all wisdom given from the beginning, right? And he's showing you the parallels. He says, this Jesus did imitate Solomon. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm not trying to allude to that. What I'm saying is that the way the wisdom flows through us and how we have it, that goes into that comforter, that spirit of a comforter that we have. Go ahead, come on.
And was no less famous for wisdom and learning.
And was no less famous for wisdom and learning in his time. Go ahead, come on.
Both being indeed a man of great learning, and so reputed also.
Meaning he had the opportunity of leisure where he studied, a great man of learning, and reputed as such. Because guess what? You don't declare yourself wise. Others declare yourself wise.
That's what it is.
If you have to toot your own horn and say that you are full of wisdom, you are not full of wisdom. Wisdom is shown in actions.
Demonstration.
Understanding is shown in demonstration. And true wisdom cannot exist in somebody who is not humble. You don't have to work on humility. The wiser you get, the humbler you are.
Like it's Rock 3.
It's kind of like in martial arts or self-defense. You start off because you want to defend yourself or you want to kick some ass. And then when you realize how dangerous you can potentially be,
damn, you gotta humble down.
You're not running out looking for fights. You're not running out looking for...
That's heavy.
And if anything, you strive to avoid conflict because of the potential of what can happen from it. And even understanding that you're not untouchable. Because that potential of what can happen is you can get jacked up.
Both ways.
Or you can severely do some damage to somebody that could have some real bad repercussions, right?
Right.
So the way wisdom works, and it goes back to something Bishop said on Sabbath about, it's not memorization, right? It's application that shows.
Exercise of use.
The exercise of use.
Yeah.
I'm butchering it. He said it really, really nice the way he said it. But it's the application, right? Now, let's get back to Proverbs 4:1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear ye, children, and the instruction of a father.
Right. And guess what? We just read where?
Sirach.
And he said he imitated Solomon. It spoke about the instructions of fathers, and he gave you generations. He gave you 3 generations, and that was passed on.
Yeah.
Here, Solomon is telling you, hear the instruction of a father. Not just to his children, but and this was the connection I was going to make after the Godhead, which they don't know about unless they were here for the class. So you can see how this was what was going to be next. And I was going to tie it all together with all that wisdom and all that understanding that we have. It's the strongest part of it is our identity and the commandments, refraining ourselves from our appetites, and the prophecies. Right? I emphasize that so that we don't give credit to nobody else. Everything, the beginning from the end, was declared unto us as Israel in this Bible, so that we don't say another God or our superstitions did it. We give all honor, glory, and credit to Christ the King and his Father. Right? But in that, there is so much more that was given unto us that we neglect to use and apply in these scriptures on a regular basis for ourselves. Right? I'm guilty of it even. And I have to make sure that I walk circumspect to make sure that there's no, this is what I do on Sabbath, this is what I do on a feast day. This is who you become.
Right.
And if you don't aspire to become this and keep it, because you can walk in those steps and lose it.
It's heavy.
That's when it goes into wisdom, walking by crooked ways with you. At the first, it'll show you this, that, and the other, right? Then it's for nothing. And this is why you got to finish your course.
Wouldn't that regard the talents he was making reference to as well?
Yeah, and I'll give you another example. Yes, it goes into the talents that I was going into, which is why he was so mad at him that he hit his talent, right? Again, going back to martial arts, you can train for years, and when you stop training and practicing,
you lose it.
It'll still be there, muscle memory,
right?
But you're never as proficient as when you're continually practicing it.
The reflexes,
right?
Yeah,
right. So with that rehearse the righteous acts, it's not a one-time thing. It's continual. It's continual. It's day to day. It's every moment. How can you be spiritual but be so undisciplined that you can't lose the weight to get you to something that's it's unhealthy to be overweight?
Right.
That goes into Joshua 1:8, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. Read it. We can read that real quick.
Read that real quick.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
I'm not gonna take it too much time, but meditate. A lot of people think of meditation as,
yeah, all of that stuff, right?
But when you actually look at the word meditation, it's talking about repeating something over.
This is one of my favorite scriptures. This is one of my top scriptures in the Bible.
Right, and that's what Deke is going into right now: the meditation and using it skillfully.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Read.
That thou may meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
There's the part.
So that's the part.
Meditate and do.
We're meditating to do. We're not meditating to see who knows the most precepts.
That's what he said, Sirach, about his grandfather.
Right.
He said he was shown as a man of learning and reputed as such.
Based off his actions.
Reputed as such. Repute goes into reputation.
Right.
And his reputation was not somebody who studied and had a good memory. He had that reputation because he demonstrated it. He demonstrated it. Oh, you want to do the definition?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do the definition.
Yes, sir.
Meditate. Think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time.
For a period of time. And that period of time, you know how much that is? However much you need.
Exactly.
Right. However much you need for whatever it is you're trying to overcome. Whatever it is you're trying to improve.
And it's funny, Deep, because I meditate on it when I'm a truck driver, right? I meditate by just repeatedly going over a breakdown or what I'm working on, and I'm just meditating on it, right? So watch this. Read on.
That thou mayest.
Read that part again. The last part you read.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
So it's all about actions. It's not about talk. Precepts. It's about actions. Read.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
So this is how we're going to become prosperous. This is how we're going to have success, by actually applying the things that are taught, the things that are breaking out, because that application is going to give growth.
Hey, I'm going to show you something. Go back to where we were in Sirach. Go all the way down to that last part where it says he was a man of learning and reputed as such. Because I made a statement, and people are going to get it twisted. I want to validate it and get the definition of repute. You could just Google repute meaning. Read down around that part. I'm going to show you that it's you don't say that you're wise. You don't measure your wisdom. Remember, it says when you study to show yourself approved to God.
Right.
Not to sit there and have some pride on how much you've memorized.
Or want kudos.
Right. Or want kudos for it. Right? And even if you don't want the kudos, real wisdom brings you to humility that when you get them, you accept them, you're kind about it, and you keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
It's like that when I gave that class where, what was again from the movie, with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx?
Oh, the football movie.
No, not the football movie. The one where they killed his wife, so he went all crazy and gets revenge on everybody. Anyway, there's a scene in that movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. He was like a hotshot lawyer, and he was about to be promoted, and his mentor told him, something about Marcus Aurelius, and he said, you know how he dealt with staying humble with all the power and wisdom that he had in ruling Rome? He said he hired people that would tell him before he would go speak and hear the crowds,
"You're just a man.
You're just a man.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
remember
a
you
man.
using that example.
You're just a man.
Just a man.
And which goes, I mean, they give him a credit, and I know he's an Edomite, but the scripture does tell you that they're wiser than Daniel. They do a diligent search, right? I'm not going to say that they're, I'm not going to try to discredit, listen, not all of them is dumb.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they're able to maintain. Law-abiding citizen, that was it.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Real wisdom, you don't need to hire somebody to tell you that. You tell it to yourself if you need to hear it, or it never comes up.
Right.
But I'm going to show you how wisdom is something that others have to tell you that you have, and that you don't say it for yourself. Go ahead, read that part.
This Jesus did imitate Solomon, and was no less famous for wisdom and learning, both being indeed a man of great learning.
Meaning they knew that he always studied. Go ahead, come on.
And so reputed also.
So reputed also, meaning others told him that he was a great man of wisdom. Show the definition of repute. Read that.
Repute, the opinion generally held of someone.
Not you, the opinion you have of yourself. The opinion generally held of some, meaning others have to have that view of you. And they only have that view of you by your actions. Go ahead, come on.
Or something. The state of being regarded.
You're regarded that way. Not you regard yourself that way. Repute is others. Look at you as a wise man. Not you as yourself. Go ahead, come on.
In a particular way.
In a particular way. And what does it say also, the second one?
The state of being highly thought of, fame.
The state of being highly thought of. Renown, men of renown. The state of being highly thought of. Meaning others have to think of you that way.
Right.
What you think of yourself in that regard doesn't matter. So when it says he was regarded, because you got a lot of these precept brothers that think that they're somebody. You got whole camps that say they the only ones that got the truth. That in and of itself, why would they ever have to say that? You should be reputed as such.
Yes.
Right.
And they're reputed over and over that they're not of such.
Right.
Right? Now, go back to Proverbs 4.
And Proverbs 20:72 is talking about what you're saying too.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father.
Come on.
And attend to no understanding.
Uh-huh.
For I give you good doctrine.
Uh-huh.
Forsake ye not my law.
Because it starts with the law. Go ahead, come on.
For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother.
Read.
He taught me also, and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words.
Let thine heart, let your mind retain my words. And how do you retain them? By you meditate on them and do them. We're reading that Joshua 1:8. It says meditate and do. Go ahead, come on.
Keep my commandments and live. Get wisdom. Get understanding. Forget it not.
Keep my commandments and live. And then it says get wisdom and get understanding. There's a difference between memorizing something and being of repute for something. You get understanding by doing. Go ahead, come on.
Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth.
And the way you don't forget it is not by having some excellent memory, but by continuing to do it, by continuing to practice. Go ahead, come on.
Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee.
Come on.
Love her, and she shall keep thee.
And why does it say love her? Because something you love, you always seek after.
Right. Embrace it.
You look for it.
Care for
You care for it. You nurture it. You never disregard it. You never treat it as a trophy. It's something that you hold dear. That's why Christ said, where your treasure is, there is your heart also. Meaning what? There's your mind.
Your mind is there.
That's that I being singular. That's where your focus then comes into play. And you can't tell me that you have disruption in other areas of your life that you've yet to bring into check, and that you are moving in the spirit of what we're reading. It doesn't happen. Get me that. A double-minded man's unstable in all his ways.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 8.
And you can't serve two masters.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Right. So somebody who's not singular, somebody who doesn't love wisdom, it's not going to retain with you. It's not going to be kept with you. You're double-minded, and it says you're unstable in all your ways. So when you see instability in people, listen, I get it. We catch hell sometimes. We go through stuff. But you always, like, it's been 10 years, and you still broke?
Right.
You still need help? You still losing jobs? You still can't get your marriage right? Your kids still don't listen? You're still 200 pounds overweight? You got problems with everybody? Been 8 years and you still got problems? Who's the issue here? You're double-minded. You're unstable. You're a cloud without water.
Yeah.
You're spots in the feast. Get me Matthew.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 24.
Uh-huh.
No man can serve two masters.
No man can serve two masters. Go into that double-minded and your eye being singular. When you love something, you seek it. You nurture it. You're always looking for it. Go ahead, come on.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
That goes into that stability. And what it really goes down to is the things that you're unstable in. Why? Let's keep it real. Whatever it is that your goal is that you haven't met, it's because you don't really love it. You love the other thing that you're comfortable in more. You always depressed? It's because you really love being depressed.
Right. Or you don't hate it enough to get rid of it.
Right. Which basically is the other side of it.
Exactly.
You have to love the other thing more.
Mm-hmm.
And then you won't deal with the other stuff. So there's no, it's not circumstance. It's not, right? I know those play a role in things. But when you're moving and walking in wisdom, clarity comes to your mind.
Right. Clarity.
And you know how to deal with the things that come at you.
That ice house.
Right? That goes in with to say there's no temptation such as is common to man that he doesn't gives you a way to escape. You just can't see it. Because you're not really in the spirit of loving wisdom. Go ahead. Come on. Come back to Proverbs 4. We're going to end in a minute. I got more, but we're going to end in a minute.
This is a good start off.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth.
Meaning keep doing them. Go ahead, come on.
Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee.
Uh-huh.
Love her, and she shall keep thee.
Read.
Wisdom is the principal
That's
thing.
the principal thing. And all wisdom was given unto us by Christ. All right, go ahead, come on.
Therefore get wisdom.
Get it, come on.
And with all thy getting, get understanding.
With everything that you have in you, get understanding. It says with all, not with some. That's that singular. That's how you can't serve two masters. That's how you can't be unstable. It says with all thy getting, get that understanding. Get that understanding. All right. I'm going to stop there. There's more, like I said. There's more because I was going to precept after that.
I like that verse 8 though, D.
I got one more.
You're going to do real quick?
Yeah,
you're going to do one
right.
more?
Oh, shoot. I'm going to cap it
Verse
off
8's
with-
fire too because it talks about the
you were
promote.
just saying, though, like, let's
Go
get
ahead.
it with that. Proverbs 27 and 2. The boast.
Nah, because after 7, I was going to get some precepts and then come back, but I'm trying to wrap it up. It's 9:45.
We could go plus.
Nah.
All right,
We're
yes,
not
sir.
gonna go plus.
Yes, sir.
And then people start losing a focus and attention too.
Right,
like if it's
right.
too long. You can't
Right.
do it. Go ahead, bring your verse.
Go
up.
ahead, go.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 2.
2.
Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth. A stranger, and not thine own lips.
I wanted to end it with that. At the end of the day,
But explain it. He gonna end it with that. That's not the flow that I left it with on Proverbs. He gonna go back to when I was dealing with repute and say I'm just gonna end it on
Ouch.
that. Where's Ruvain?
Hey, read it again.
Explain.
Let another man praise thee.
Like Deke was saying earlier, we're not here. Whatever works you're doing, it's not our job to boast about it. We will know your works by another man praising you. Another man recognizing that and giving you honor for that. Read.
And not thine own mouth.
And not you doing it yourself. Hey, look what I just did. And one thing about Israel, Deke, is people do that a lot. They do something but like, hey, did you see that video that I did? Instead of someone coming to you and saying, hey, bro, I just saw a video that you did. That was great. That was you was very edifying. So not praising yourself with your own lips. Read.
A stranger, and not thine own lips.
So let the other person give you kudos.
Hey,
not
and
yourself.
let me just put one little caveat to that before we sign off. Not everybody who says you're wise is a valid opinion either.
Damn. Okay.
And I'll give you another little anecdote. I remember I used to be in musical theater, singing, acting, stage stuff when I was in high school. And I was having a conversation with my music teacher, and we were talking about praise. And I was telling him how, my mom, my friends, they all say I'm real good, because I was thinking about pursuing it as a career. And I went to each primary discipline, the dance, the acting, and the music teacher. And I was telling him how it's hard for me to take people that like me or just somebody who's not really in what we do, their opinion. And I was asking them if they thought I might have what it takes to pursue it in college. And they all gave me different advice, and it was all good. And him, Mr. Baboff, his name was Alan Baboff, he said, he goes, you got to look at it like this. He gave me his answer. I'm not going to tell you what his answer was. He said, the opinion of somebody who really knows what they're talking about is worth more than just people who look and see the surface of what you do. And not everybody who praises you, right? Remember, it's just flattering lips and things like that. That flattery. I'll bring it full circle by saying this. It'll mean more to me when one of the deacons or one of the bishops says something about a class or something I brought out. And I'm not saying I discredit what other people say, because of the respect and esteem that I have for them as learned men also. Sometimes you'll have an audience and you'll have cheerleaders that'll tell you stuff, and is that a qualified opinion? Right. So, because some brothers get a big head about that too, because they might have a big following. Yeah. A lot of people comment on their shows and different things like that. The repute also has to happen from credible places for you to,
From another reputee.
Well, I'll give you another example. You could be from Arkansas, which is not a foodie place, and give me food opinions.
Mm-hmm. He's funny.
And I'm not going to hold them in esteem. Especially if the places you go to, I do try, and they're not up to my standards.
Damn, Lord have mercy.
Oh, snap. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because some people will say, well, I'm of repute. Everybody says, wow, you're so great, and this and that, or whatever. Mm-hmm. It got to come from some place that it means something to you. Right. That it means something. And it's not always a compliment. That's why I say, call me by my title and not father, because I earned that. And I earned that from people who were once over me and that are now my peers. So that means more to me than just somebody random saying you're so smart, you're so wise, this, that, and the other, right? And I got to maintain that. And I got to maintain that, right? Not for pride, not for anything else, but because people have put confidence in you.
Yeah, and they looking up to you now.
People take what you say and they take it with respect, and they want to apply it. So you got to be careful of what you dish out and what you say too, right? So let's go to this.
All right. We are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. Scan the QR code and go ahead and answer those questions. The one we really want, though, is the next one. Can we go to the next one, please?
No, that was Asher you saw in the Wolverine cutscene. You talk about the little short. Somebody said they think they saw me in a. No, he's shorter. They saw Asher in the Wolverine cutscene.
By the way, I am not 5'2". I am 5'3.5". I can prove it. Next show, Deacon, I'm proving it because I'm upset. I'm upset.
Why you feel so inadequate?
I'm just saying. I'm 5'3.5". There's proof. I got proof. The Bible says prove all things.
Nothing more than.
Anyways, Power Hour Plus. Hey, so check it out, y'all. We need you to subscribe to our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube. As a matter of fact, we're going to pause right now because we always have plenty of people that view the class and so forth. It'll be thousands that view our content. We even have 28,000 subscribers. I know most of y'all ain't following. Go ahead, Benson.
Hey, I just made a post too on the Power Hour Facebook and Power Hour Instagram. So y'all that enjoyed the show, go drop a comment with something that you learned tonight, and make sure that you follow.
Right. You know what I just realized? Somebody done messed this whole room up. My computer's not even charging, and I got it plugged into the table here.
Oh, Lord.
And y'all gonna tell me that you was in here and nothing happened. See, now I'm mad. We had all that technical difficulties early. I couldn't finish the rest of my stuff because we were going through the technical difficulties. I don't know.
Hey, guess what, Deke?
IT, man.
Officer Asher was sitting right there. Dang, I just put him on.
Where's the deflection? Where's it at?
I think it didn't die.
Anger bringeth age before the time. I'm gonna calm down because I want to go home and go to sleep.
All right.
Hey, someone said that's still short, officer. He acted like that's a big step
fine.
up.
That's fine.
And you still shorter than me. Shalom, y'all. Be safe. Stay in the spirit. All right. Most High Christ bless. Lord's will, we'll be back next week. We ain't got nothing. There's nothing coming up, right? We'll be back next week. Lord's will, we'll be back next week. Maybe we'll continue on with this. Maybe we go somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see what the spirit bring out. All right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.